What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back, speaking my sports talk. It's duck season for Tyson Fury. That's right, y'all know I'm a Fury fan, but let's keep it real. It's duck season for Tyson Fury. Check it out, guys. It's Tyson Fury under fire today. And what is he under fire for? Tyson Fury is under fire for being a ducker and a coward. That's right. We got Tyson Fury under fire today. And that's what we're going to talk about, guys. Bye, Miss American Pie in the building. What's good with you, fam? So Speak Your Mind Sports Talk Live Daily. We have Tyson Fury under fire today. I mean, we had Anthony Joshua under fire. We had Naoya Inoue on another episode early on. We had under fire. Well, today, my guy Tyson Fury has to be put in that hot seat. And today, Tyson Fury is under fire. Now, I'll be honest, guys. When we went through the Naoya Inoue and the Anthony Joshua situation, I think we came out on the end of those episodes and we summarized it up. And, you know, the charges and the charges and the complaints being thrown at Anthony Joshua and Naoya Inoue, we found, you know, we didn't agree with it. We didn't think that it was valid. And so, you know, when they were under fire, they didn't get burned. I'm not so sure that it's going to go down the same way with my guy Tyson Fury. And we're going to talk about all of that and why. But to keep in context, and everybody that's here now, and I'll keep reminding everybody that comes on the panel, he's under fire for two things today: for being a ducker and being a coward. And we're going to discuss that. Junior Moreno in the building. What's up? He said, I laughed my ass off. Awesome duck hunt pick. Yeah, bro, you know. And damn Tyson Fury. D playing duck hunt today. Yeah, man. I got to give it to my guy today, man. Y'all know I got Tyson Fury. Got to get that music, bro. Daniel Jordan in the building. What's good with you, fam? Brian Harkin. If he doesn't fight Whyte, it's ducking. Yeah. We're going to get into that. And I have to agree with that. I'll tell you right off the bat, Brian. Fury's my guy, but I'm in agreement with that. I actually said that same thing on IBFP yesterday, Brian. Iceman in the building. What's good with your Iceman? If he goes undisputed, he's not. Oh, yeah. We're going to get into all of that, fam. We're going to get into all of that, Brian Harkin, my man. What's up, Yamano? What's up, Guido, my man? Guido in the building. Hey, I'm sorry, Guido, I was so busy yesterday when you hit me up on the phone, bro. I didn't get it, so I do apologize. I did respond back to you, though, but, man, I get so many DM, text messages and such, and I'm being, you know, working, but my man, 20 grand, Guido. Champ Ross, get those picks in the. You slipping? No. I'm not. As soon as this live over, I'm not doing nothing else, champ. I'm not going on nobody else's live. Oh shit, intangible. I'm not going on nobody else's live. I'm not doing none of that, fam. I gotta look. It's week number 7, champ. You know I slipped up last week, bro. That 95. You know I got to hover over 100, champ. That 95 didn't sit right with me. I got to stay over 100, dog. Stephen Lawler in the building. What's good? What you think? Cap Fury has taken some decent challenges. Yes, he has. How about Mr. American Pie says Fury fought Wilder, the most dangerous after 3-year layoff. He isn't scared anymore. Yeah. We're gonna get into all of that, everybody. I'm loving the content already because we got a lot to talk about. And Daniel, what's good with you, fam?
What's up, D?
Yeah, same old. Daniel said D body bag, and yeah, man. You know I gotta get him sometimes, Daniel. I'm trying to actually get away from doing so much debating. A lot of people that know me from the beginning, like Champ Ross is in here. I'm biased. Who else in here that been around for a minute? I see some new faces. Shit, not many. Just Champ Ross.
Yeah, I've been here since September, so that's probably not the longest. I don't know.
No, Champ Ross is definitely the longest because I met Champ, but Champ was around when I first went to the UGC. Okay, so this is how it plays out. It was IBFP, my brother knew, first social media site I ever logged on to, period. Any social media was new. IBFP Boxing New. Then he knows his sports and I, because of basketball, we got clicked up. And then after that, it was the UGC. That's when I met Champ Ross. But Champ can attest to this. Dog, all I used to do on there was go around from platform to platform debating. Champ will tell you, debate, debate, debate. That's all I used to do. So if somebody want to come debate me, I'm going to just say it like this. You better come to the party with your best shit on. Because if not, you're going to get laughed out of that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hey, I ain't a great debater. I got issues with like speech and my mind processing words. So I'll probably get bodied by you, man. But look, bro, I'm calling you out to a debate, man.
Oh, you sound like El Jefe.
Yeah, bro. I got to apply this pressure real quickly, man. The way Spence did with Keith Thurman. But hey, bro, you're not one to turn down a fight. You run to the smoke. I got to give you that credit.
Yeah, right. See, there go Champ. Yeah, Steve was debating everybody. I was debating everybody, bro. Like I didn't care. And, you know,
I just found out that was Burt Sugar and Champ Ross's profile picture.
All right, so let's dig into it. I'm gonna drop this link back in the chat again, just in case anybody else want to come join and Tangible and I for today's topic. So yeah, guys, I got my guy under fire today, and I'm not sure how well he will do, but y'all already know I'm going to go to bat for him on a lot of situations, because here's the thing, and this is why I love to have these discussions on Speaking My Sports Talk Live Daily. This is a topic that is freaking massive. It's all over the place. People talking about it, right? And I'm hearing so many ideas. And so it just sparked me to let's have a discussion about this on Speaking My Sports Talk Live Daily, because we always break things down here and, you know, we go into detail. We look at all different perspectives and we come from every angle. And that's why I like to have at least 3 other people on the panel, because 2 heads is better than 1. 3 heads is better, and 4 heads is even better, especially when it's boxing minds. And we can all come to reasonable conclusions on how to look at these situations, whatever they may be, because we're going to talk about a lot of different things on this show. So, Brian Harkin in the building. My man IBT in the building. Was good, prospect of the year. You ain't a prospect no more, IBT. We might be slipping you a belt. But so first off, guys, I want to start with the ducking. So we're going to talk about Fury being a ducker. Now, just to real quick, Intangible and Brian Harkin, did you guys get a chance to read the description?
Yeah. I didn't read the description. I read the title.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's get on the ducking first. Because a lot of people are saying right now that, you know, Tyson Fury ducked the fight with Whyte and he'll duck him again. And, you know, or he's ducking already, whatever, ducking by talking about dumping the franchise belt or the WBC belt, just basically saying he's not going to entertain Whyte. It's a duck, right? So starting off with you, Brian, what is your assessment on this? Fury ducking Dillian Whyte right now or no?
Yeah. At the moment, I think if he doesn't take the fight, he's ducking. But if he's taking the fight, or if he's taking the AJ fight, and that's the fight everyone wants to see, he's not ducking. Sometimes you have to prioritize legacy over championship. But if he strips himself off the title, if he throws away the title, the WBC title, he's ducking.
Right.
But if it's for undisputed, if everything is for undisputed, I don't think he's ducking at all. So this is my. I want to see the AJ fight.
Right.
So that's where I'm first at. But if he doesn't fight either guy, he's ducking.
I got you. I can agree with that. Lisa Bales in the building. Queen Lisa, was good with your sis. My man Charles D done stepped up in here. What's up, bro? Charles D up in here. Think Cap said Fury isn't ducking Whyte. I don't think he's going after the big money. I think he's going after the big money fights. Yeah, well, that's for sure. But I will say this thing, Cap. Even though Fury is my guy, just because you're going after a bigger money fight, don't mean you're not ducking. Yeah. You can still duck to go for a bigger money fight. You know what I mean? You can still be a duck. So I feel you. And I'm going to speak on it too. I want to get intangible thoughts on this. What do you feel about Fury ducking Whyte now? Or if, like what Brian said, he would be a duck? What's your idea on this intangible?
Well, the fight's only a prospect and a proposition, so he's not ducking now. And what he says, I don't take everything he says seriously. Tyson Fury tends to react impulsively. He doesn't tend to mean everything he says. He just says things without thinking it, and he says whatever's on his mind. Maybe that's the case in this situation. It's not a duck right now. But here's the thing, like, the AJ fight is not going to happen next. It has to happen with a gate. It has to happen after AJ fights Pulev, which is going to be his mandatory, and he's going to be stripped if he doesn't fight him. And that's the thing. Him jumping right into an AJ fight is going to cost Undisputed. All right, because he's either going to be franchised or the WBC is going to strip him. Most likely franchised, because Bob Arum's probably going to ask for it. And if it costs Undisputed, then the whole point of the fight just gets completely tossed away. Even though, yes, they're the two biggest names, the glory behind the fight just it leaves basically. You know, and I'm one to basically, I'm a huge person who's asking for Undisputed in the heavyweight division. We haven't had it since Lennox Lewis. I'm fucking hungry for it, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, also, if AJ jumps into it, the IBF is going to strip him. Because even though the IBF, I guess, has this sort of rule of unification trump on.
No, I think you mean the WBO, because he's satisfying the IBF with the Kubrat Pulev fight.
Yeah, but even the IBF, like after you win a belt, you get 9 months to fight a mandatory. They don't live up to that rule whatsoever. The WBC says you have to fight one mandatory per year. They don't really live up to it, or they just move the goalpost for what mandatories they have. I mean, and they have fake rankings as well. I mean, it's like you have to find a way to satisfy the sanctioning bodies if you want Undisputed, and that's just what I'm looking for. I want the Tyson Fury fight and Anthony Joshua fight to be as big as it possibly can, and in order for that to occur, it has to be for Undisputed.
Same.
Yeah. I feel you. Stephen Lawler says it's not a good look on Fury when he's talking about taking the franchise belt. That's a fact, Stephen Lawler. Charles D. Jay Cooley stepped in the building. Luis Puente, what's good with you, fam? I was just talking about you, Jay Cooley in the building. What's good? Charles D. I asked for me to appear like hell yeah, dog. You did ask. You just say Jay Cooley 3 times. Jay Cooley. You damn sure did show up as soon as he said something.
A wild Jay Cooley has appeared.
Yeah. Luis Puente says, I'll call it a duck if Fury don't fight Dillian Whyte. Okay, I can respect that. Shiz Biz in the building was good. Shiz Biz. Lisa Bell shouting out everyone. All right, that's what's up. So,
the first queen of boxing.
Yes, definitely. The queen. Queen of boxing. She's as sharp as a tack too, bro. Her knowledge is on 1,000. So check this out. Here's my idea on it. Now, I actually, in some effect, feel like he's already ducking Dillian Whyte. I'm already calling it a duck, and I'm going to tell you guys why I'm saying that. It's a duck because he's basically telling us he ain't fighting him, bro. You understand? He's not going to fight him. He's not. Yep. And so with that being said, I'm not looking for hypotheticals. If this happens, if that happens, if this happens. Timmy Nealon, what's good with you? The way I see it, if my guy tell me, well, look, I ain't fighting him, and that's really a fight that he should take, if Wilder cannot fight, now here's my thing, because if Wilder can't fight, Fury still ain't going to fight him. Well, if Wilder can't fight and you have time in between there, you could take the fight. Now, you calling everybody doses and you box their head off. Well, go box his head off, Fury. You see, I can't accept that, even though you my guy. When these fighters come out and say, oh, they can't beat me, I'm the best, blah, 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 I'll box his head off, I'll knock him out. You got to take that fight, bro.
Is Wilder injured?
Well, yeah, he's injured, and their fight may be delayed. This was part of Dillian Whyte, why he came out and just had enough, because he was like, well, if Wilder's injured and that fight be delayed, and then after they fight, they go into 4-belt, what the hell are y'all doing to me? Like, if Wilder's injured and he can't fight, then the next man up. Let me come fight him until he
fight. Yeah. Well, I didn't know Wilder was injured. So, yeah, this is the next fight. This should be the next fight, and then after that, go fight AJ next year. If he wins, fight AJ. If Dillian Whyte wins, he fights AJ next year. That's how it be. Yeah, I had no idea Wilder was injured.
So here's another. I want, like, you guys know how I always do. I always give an alternative perspective, okay? And here's a perspective on this too, and we got to keep this in mind. And the reason I agree with everyone when they say if he fights AJ, it's not a duck, right? You're damn right it's not a duck. Because here's the first thing. Number one, Anthony Joshua is considered the best heavyweight, or arguably the best heavyweight. The only two questions is him and Fury. There's no more questions, because the third guy was just knocked out in impressive fashion, which was Wilder. So Anthony Joshua and Fury are number one and number two, no matter how you chalk it up, no matter who you choose. I have said this about other fighters, and I'm damn sure going to keep the same energy when it comes to my guy. You cannot be considered a duck if you're fighting a higher level competition. Period. So if he goes to fight AJ, especially, forget about the 4 belts, forget about the money. AJ is better than Dillian Whyte. How are you afraid of a guy who's less of a threat? It makes no sense to me, bro.
No, bro. My rankings are AJ and then Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is number 2 on my rankings.
Even if it was Ruiz, AJ's still better than Whyte. It ain't Whyte. And my point is, look, if AJ is better than Whyte, if AJ is more dangerous than Whyte, how are you ducking a lesser opponent? It makes no sense, bro. How are you afraid of a guy who has less of a chance to beat you up than a guy who has more of a chance to beat you up? That's just the stupidest shit I ever heard. Like, I don't go for those things. It doesn't make any sense. Now, this is why I say if he takes that AJ, who the hell cares about Dillian Whyte, dude? No one cares about you if he can get that fight. It's not a duck if he's saying, F you, I'm going for 4-belt undisputed, and a guy who has already beaten your ass.
Do you want to know the problem? Do you want to know the problem they hear? AJ and Fury both have options in front of them. Dillian Whyte only had one option, and that's to go for the WBC title belt, because he screwed himself any other way. He went after AJ before. He rejected a rematch with AJ, and then when that was over, he decided to go after AJ again. That didn't happen. Now he's only got one. Now he's only got one route, and that's for the WBC title belt. And the difference, AJ and Fury both have options. Dylan only has one option now. So he screwed himself in the foot, and this is where he is at.
Right. So go ahead. My bad.
No. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Luis Puente says, why don't you fight Whyte first before Wilder? Now, I was hoping that somebody came out with this, and Luis Puente, thank you, because you came out with it earlier than I expected, and I wanted to speak on this specifically. So I'm gonna give my thoughts on this comment here, and then I'll go to you guys. Scott Brown in the building. What's up? Franchise champion should be transferable. You beat the best. You get, yeah, I agree with that 100%, Scott. It should be transferable. So, Luis Puente, why not fight Whyte first before Wilder? Okay. I'm going again. Consistency is where I'm at. Okay. I'm going to say the same exact thing that I said for Errol Spence, that I said for Canelo Alvarez, that I've even said for Anthony Joshua. Why is it that fans expect more off of one fighter when they have complaints than they do everyone else? So you guys are telling me that Fury is basically supposed to fight number one or number two, because that's what Wilder was before he beat him. Then he's supposed to go right after that and fight Dillian Whyte, who is arguably number 4, number 3. And then immediately after that, he's supposed to go into the 4-belt unification with Anthony Joshua. Now, my question is this, and it's the same thing I say about Canelo and Charlo and Andre and all of these yahoos. Why is it that Fury has to take that route? Who the fuck else is doing that? Who is fighting number 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, back to back to back? Who's doing that?
No one.
Now, because Fury is in this situation and Dillian Whyte done shot himself in the foot and he's complaining, and I'm not going at you, Luis Puente. I'm just saying I'm hearing this statement. Now Fury has to fight Wilder, Whyte, Wilder, AJ. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck that. Listen to those 4 fights. Wilder, Whyte, let Wilder heal, fight Wilder again, and then AJ. And nobody finds that unreasonable because nobody in the fucking heavyweight division, even AJ, is fighting at that level, fight after fight after fight. But now Fury has to do it.
Can I put that in perspective? Okay. AJ fought a 38-year-old Carlos Takam. He fought a 39-year-old Poveskin, and he fought a 40-year-old Vladimir Klitschko. So, you know, even though he was fighting top quality opponents, well, Takam, you know, just below, but, you know, he fought 2 top quality opponents. They were both at the tail end of their career.
Right.
So, you know, I give him credit for those ones, but I don't think he would have beat a Vladimir Klitschko at 35 years of age. If Klitschko was 35 or, you know, in his mid-30s. But, you know, that was a great fight, though. You know, I've watched that fight several times. But, yeah, that's my perspective on it. And when you listen to that, a 38, a 39, and a 40-year-old, and people have said he's taken the tough fights. He has, yes. He's taken a lot of tough fights. He's fought a lot of fighters at the tail end of their career.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout off right quick. Shiz Biz in the building. What's good with your Shiz Biz? I might have shouted you out already, Shiz Biz, but it don't hurt to shout you out again. Willie Williams just stepped up in the building. What's good with you, Willie Williams? My man, get this smoke. What's up? Get this smoke. Appreciate y'all coming through, fam. Toby Barlett in the building. I don't know if I shouted you out, Toby, but I appreciate you coming through. So, Intangible, or Charles D just stepped in the building. Intangible, I'll let you go next. Charles D, you heard what I was just saying about Fury?
I kind of heard some of it, but then I kind of cut off when you were saying what champion has to go through
right. Let me
back-to-back killers.
Let me run it by you again. So this is what I was saying. And Charles, you know this because you've been around me since the beginning too, since UGC. So
yeah,
the same way I defended Spence, the same way I defended Canelo, the same way I have defended Anthony Joshua when people throw this charge at him about fighting the best guys back to back to back to back. And if Fury, he just beat up Wilder, right? Okay. So if Fury does what people are yelling for him to do, they're saying he just fought Wilder, which before he beat Wilder's ass, he was the top 2 guy. It was AJ and it was Wilder, okay? Or arguably AJ Fury Wilder, whatever. He was still one of the top 3.
It was AJ Wilder before Fury before they could see how he looks.
Right. So he beat this guy, number 1 or 2. Then they're saying since Wilder's injured, go fight another top 4 heavyweight in Dillian Whyte. After you fight him, go back and satisfy your rematch with Wilder, another top guy. And then after that, go to the 4-belt undisputed with AJ, the number 1 guy. And my thing is, who the fuck else has that requirement in the heavyweight division? Because nobody's doing anything close to that. But now Fury, because Dillian Whyte done screwed his career up and he's crying about the WBC, now Fury's required to do that. 4 top 3 back to back.
I don't know, man. That's look. I'm not saying AJ had to go through that same thing, but
No, he didn't.
Look, I'm saying though it's still comparable though, because what I'm trying to say though is that he fought Joseph Parker, who was a champion. He fought Povetkin, who was a top 3 or top 5 fighter in the division at the time and has a top 3 resume in the division. And he then fought Ruiz, who of course unified with him, and then he fought Ruiz again. That's probably 4 straight top 5 fighters, and then in the next fight.
No, it's not. Because when he fought Ruiz the first time, he was not fucking top 5. He was virtually unknown, and he wasn't top 5 intangible.
Yeah, that's true.
It's definitely true. Wilder was a fucking champion and considered number 1 or 2. It is not even close to the same. And just like I said, no heavyweight has fought 4 top 3 guys. Top 3, this is what this is. Understand this. How many people are putting Dillian Whyte over Wilder now, especially since Fury has beaten him? So this will be 4 top 3 heavyweights back to back to back.
And they want him to fight AJ twice.
Right. 5 back to back to back consecutive. Who the fuck is doing that at any division besides Canelo?
At the same time, that's also sort of just how things sort of shake out. I mean, I'm not, I'm not going to say.
Hold on, Intention. What you mean that's how it shakes out? Nobody's doing that.
No. Because what I'm saying, though, is through that 4-fight stretch, he's obligated to fight Wilder, and he's also obligated to fight Whyte by the WBC, and AJ is just obligated to have an easier route. That's just how things sort of fall. I mean, it's not necessarily AJ's fault that Fury, has to fight a tougher route of fighters. He just has those guys ahead of him, and Fury just has tougher guys.
That Dillian Whyte shot himself in the fucking foot and helped himself get in this position.
And AJ's not in that tough situation because AJ has them 3 belts, so he's got mandatories he's got to fucking handle.
Because see, and this is going to lead into another topic, so I want y'all to give y'all thoughts on that, but this is going to segue into the next thing I want to talk about concerning this. But go ahead, Intangible. Go ahead and finish, fam.
1 second, I gotta check something.
All right, Brian, what you think about what I was just saying there about my guy having to fight 5 top 3 guys back to back to back?
Well, according to some rankings on the IBO, right, he has to fight Pulev. He has to fight.
No. Fury doesn't.
No. He's talking about AJ.
I'm talking about AJ. AJ has to fight Pulev.
AJ has to fight Pulev. Yeah.
Sorry, he has to fight Pulev. Then after that, you're talking about Usyk. If Usyk beats,
WBO.
If Usyk beats, who's he meant to be?
Chisora.
Right.
Yep. If Usyk beats, so Pulev, Chisora, and then Tyson Fury twice.
Right, but
Well, they both would, but they both going through the gauntlet.
No. Parker or Pulev are not fucking ranked like Whyte, Wilder, and Joshua and Fury. They're not. Nobody considers them the best.
All right,
but
Fury will be going through 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, and Joshua. Those guys are not up there with them.
Yeah, but I'm saying those are his mandatories.
Yeah, they're his mandatories, but I'm just saying, how are we calling Tyson Fury a coward, a duck, and all of this? And look at what is the expectations are, is my thing. That's we got all of these people out here that's disrespecting Canelo Alvarez because of Demetrius Andre. What the fuck has he done? But then you want to expect Tyson Fury to fight 4 of the top 3 back to back to back to back. Stop this. The boxing fans are freaking ludicrous to me sometimes.
Andre turned down $7 million for that fight, so don't.
Andre didn't turn down $7 million. He
No,
offered $7 million.
Charlo turned down. He offered it. Charlo dumbass turned it down.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Charlo.
who the hell? Because who the hell has Charlo for that 60?
Yeah,
Right.
Not a damn soul.
Jorge, bro, he
Yeah.
fought Jorge Sebastian Lilas, bro, or Lijas, however you pronounce his name, bro. That dude is a beast. That's a better win than anybody on Canelo's record, man.
I should kick you right in the shins for saying that shit.
He was trolling.
Hey, man, Lions only, bro. Lions only gang, man.
Yeah, you definitely lying.
Yeah. All right, so guys. All right, so we look at the whole fight, the 4 back-to-back thing. I guess there's more. There's definitely multiple perspectives on that. I just think that it's kind of a high expectation because no one else is doing that in boxing. And when we say that, this is how the cards have fell, or this is the situation that he found himself in. Okay, well, we can say that, but then we have to look at Whyte's complaint. If we're going to say, well, this is just how the cards fell, then we have to look at Dillian Whyte, who is causing a lot of this turmoil, right? He dug his own hole. Now he in the bottom of that hole crying. And everybody expects Fury to... Guys, let me ask you guys this. Fury just got that belt from Deontay Wilder in this last fight. We can all agree on that. Everybody knows that. He just got that belt. So why people sit up here and they say, well, it's not Whyte's fault that this, that, and the third half. Okay, Fury just got a hold of that belt. It's his fucking fault that the WBC, the PBC, and Wilder screwed the hell out of Whyte for the past 3 years? That's Fury's fault? What the fuck does that have to do with Fury? He just got a hold of that belt. So now all of the onus is supposed to fall on Tyson Fury because of what Suleiman, Shelley Finkel, Heyman, and Wilder has done to Whyte. So now it's all Fury's fault.
See, in the future, though, I want to see Tyson Fury set a better example than Wilder. I want him to fight Whyte and live up to his obligations the way Wilder does. And yes, he just got the belt, but in time, he's going to have to face him. And if he doesn't face him, I'm giving him that same flame I gave Wilder.
Okay. Well,
he inherited that shit with Wilder because Wilder had that motherfucker, 1,000 days? So being locked up, let's see, 365, that's almost 3 years, number one, and no fight.
Right. And we gotta realize this too. Fury has to fight Dillian Whyte. He's mandated to fight him by February 21st, okay, of 2021. If I think I'm right on that, I think it's February 21st, right?
Yes, you're correct. 1 year after the Fury Wilder fight.
Right. So with that being said, if he has to fight him February, that time frame has not even come yet, and people are ragging Tyson Fury. Right, that time frame hasn't come yet, but people are already ragging Tyson Fury. But again, how long has he held that belt? He's held that belt. He just got this belt off of Wilder. So
not even a year.
All of Dillian Whyte's transgressions, all of the nonsense he's went through, everybody's putting this heat on Fury now.
No, but it's also
nobody putting it on Wilder and Finkel and Heyman. Everything lies on Fury's lap now because he just collected this belt.
Nah, but it also comes from what the fuck Fury is saying. Like, I'll drop the WBC and I'll do all this shit. He's saying the wrong shit.
Well, he is saying the wrong shit, and I've already said I don't agree with that. But again, perspectives, bro, because I just spoke about this yesterday. I don't agree with Fury, but listen to the validation of it.
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying to the people, it looks like, okay, I'm gonna drop the belt. Right. Why would you do that shit? And then people are like, well, they're gonna make Fury the franchise. First off, get rid of that fucking franchise shit. This shit, first off, is between the 4 sanctioned bodies and this bullshit fucking Uno reverse card belt. I don't like this shit. This fucking belt is the fucking devil.
Yeah.
Yep.
This belt is pick and choose and no repercussions kind of shit.
Yeah, it's terrible, bro. It's absolutely terrible, that belt. And it's not helping anything. It's only hurting the cause.
I don't know. It's adding more confusion to the shit because say if they make him franchise and then he fights fucking AJ, this shit is technically not undisputed.
That's correct.
Yep.
See,
This is not undisputed.
So here it is. Here it is, guys. See, this is the inconsistency. So excuses. Fury is the WBC champion, so he got to fight Whyte. Pretty sure, pretty simple. AJ isn't the WBC. Needs to show. Okay, where was all of this heat the past 3 goddamn years for Wilder? Where was all of this heat the past 3 goddamn years for the WBC mandating that fight? No, now that, because see, it's a lot of people that don't like Tyson Fury.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of bullshit that was going in between that too, D. Remember, this nigga was like, oh, fight Brazil, fight Ortiz. Who the fuck are you to tell somebody else to fight somebody else to fight you?
He said Whyte built that maze. He can't smoke you sleep.
Yeah, smoke high.
Whyte built that maze. He can't.
Some shit. He high. He was hitting the wrong buttons.
Yeah. Fury should have. I think that's supposed to say Fury should have fought Whyte instead of Wallin. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But at the time he fought Otto Wallin, Whyte wasn't calling him out. Whyte was still after Wilder because Whyte is after the money and the belt. So he wasn't. We can't say he should have fought Whyte instead of Wallin because Whyte didn't have his eyes set on Fury at that time. Whyte had his eyes still set on Wilder, still bitching and moaning about the same thing. Why they don't give me my shot? Why they don't give me my shot at that time? So we can't say Fury should have fought Whyte. Whyte didn't even start bringing Fury out of his mouth until he wanted to get his hands on that belt now. And he wants to get his hands on that belt now because it's a meal ticket. I just told somebody when they're like, well, no, AJ got all the belts. Listen, AJ has made it plain. He wants that 4th belt. So whoever's holding that 4th belt, guess what they get? That big super fight with AJ. It's not about Fury. And I don't even think it was really about Wilder. With Dillian Whyte, it's about money, bro. He want that belt because he want the big payday.
Yeah, but he also wanted that belt because remember, he couldn't get that shot back at AJ. So that last piece of the puzzle is Wilder. He was holding that WBC.
And look at all the heat and the attention that Dillian Whyte put into Wilder. Wilder's a bitch. He's a punk. He's ducking me. Blah, 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 blah. He don't even speak about fighting Wilder no more. Which shows you it was only about the belt. It was only about the belt. He doesn't even mention Wilder no more. He done shifted all his attention to Fury.
Yep.
And plus the way he lost that belt, Wilder was fucking Fury. Fucking Whyte was laughing his ass off, like he got his ass whipped. He didn't care about that shit. He just sort of fucking shifted the belt.
That's it. Eric, what's up with you, fam? Eric in the building. Willie Boy slipping move. Fury and Whyte were mandated for the silver belt, and Fury walked away. Did he not? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but didn't Fury want the belt to be diamond status?
Yeah, but again, he ducked that fight. I mean, again, so like that's what I was talking about on News Channel yesterday. Like, listen, on some of the issues where people are throwing that fear about ducking, I'm not, just cut and dry. He ducked. And so with that Whyte situation, he ducked that fight.
At the same time, blame the fucking sanctioning bodies because the sanctioning bodies had mandated the Fury and Wilder fight when Fury didn't do anything to move up in the WBC rankings in order to justify the mandatory besides fight him once and get a draw.
I couldn't hear shit. He kind of stuttered.
Yeah, you broke up a little bit.
Oh, I'll just restate it. Blame the sanctioning body because the sanctioning body. You guys hear me well?
Yeah.
You're good right now.
Blame the sanctioning body because the sanctioning body was the one that mandated the Fury and Wilder fight, even though Fury had done nothing to move up in the WBC rankings except a draw with Wilder.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he broke up a little bit at the end.
Yeah, but that's I got the gist of what you were saying. Okay. First off, Aob says, tell him to drop the WBC belt if it's too hard. Stop crying for that. Okay, dog. He said he was going to drop the belt, and then he started getting a whole lot of goddamn grief over it, Aob. So he was going to do exactly what you said. He wasn't crying about it. He said, F Suleiman, F Bob Arum because they won't force Tyson Fury to do anything either. And I'll give that belt up before I allow them to force. So AOPS, he's answering. As far as Mr. Spook says, why wouldn't it be about the belt? This is boxing. I agree, Mr. Spooks. So if you're going to say that in defense with Dillian Whyte, why'd he turn down that Anthony Joshua fight when they came back at him? There's not enough money. They're trying to lowball me. It should have been about the belt. So it's about the belt when he feels like it's about the belt, Mr. Spooks. See, there ain't going to be no defending Dillian Whyte in here. Don't even start it. It's not going to be no defending Dillian Whyte. Because if this is the statement you're using, why wasn't it about the belts? 3 belts, Mr. Spooks.
It's about the belt now because this is his last opportunity.
Yeah, that's what it's about. He's backed himself into a hole, Mr. Spook. He has screwed himself royally, and he's out of options. He can't do too much. The pressure bust pipes, Mr. Spooks. It ain't just about no belt. Dillian Whyte has screwed himself. Yes, Fury ducked. But if I'm going to sit up here and say my guy ducked, I ain't giving all of these passes to Dillian Whyte. Let's hold him accountable too, Mr. Spooks. You got to do that too. Keep the same energy with this Dillian Whyte. I'm not trying to hear this Dillian Whyte sob story. He has valid complaints against the WBC for sure. He has valid complaints on the duck for sure. But we ain't going to sit here and defend Dillian Whyte on everything because he has caused himself a lot of these troubles. And Dillian Whyte's fans have to accept that, bro. We can't be putting everything on Fury. The whole Whyte situation on Fury when Mauricio Suleiman and Wilder and them had a lot to do with it. And now we want to put everything on Fury concerning Dillian Whyte when he screwed himself and did the same thing that people are complaining about with Fury. Whyte has done it over and over again, chasing money or chasing another fight after opportunity. Now we're going to hold Fury accountable for shit that Whyte done did in the past to get himself in this situation? Think about this. Like, what are we talking about here? Why would he want the belt? He doesn't care who's got it.
No, I'm trying to get shit straight. Didn't Fury want the shit to get elevated? Didn't he want the shit diamond belt instead of that silver, right?
I don't even
to fight Dillian Whyte. This goddamn dump truck.
Oh, Smoke said it was for the diamond belt, Charles D. Whyte already.
Okay, so yeah, so I wasn't all right then. So I was on the same page. He wanted it. He wanted to be the diamond instead of the silver.
Right. Somebody look that up because I'm not sure, but that's what Smoke said.
No. But that's what Fury. That's what the headline was. Like he would fight Fury, but instead of it being for the silver, it had to be the diamond. It had to be something of significance.
Yeah. Okay. So Fury.
So is that true though, Smoke?
It could
My
be.
bad, Andy.
Mangro says Fury walked away with the silver belt and was rewarded for walking away with Dillian Whyte's mandatory. So, see, here's the thing. This is the shit we're talking about right here. Because these are the charges that people take. So Fury walked away and was rewarded with Dillian Whyte's mandatory. First and foremost, Fury walked away and the WBC continued to screw Dillian Whyte. Because Mangrove, they were screwing Dillian Whyte before the Fury situation. This is why I'm not going to allow people to put all of this shit going on with Whyte on Fury when most of it had to do with Whyte and Suleiman.
Yeah. Oscar Rivas, after the Oscar Rivas fight, didn't he fail a drugs test, or there was some
that was recanted. It was bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. There was some discrepancy, but they stripped him of his #1 mandatory, and they give that to Tyson Fury. So either there was some fuckery there, which probably was with the WBC. They probably planned the whole thing, but I don't know if UCAD had anything to do with it. I don't know how that worked, but
UCAD was the problem.
Yeah,
but
they fucked up the drugs test.
UCAD is the UK doping administration, right?
Yeah.
Suleiman had no right to remove Dillian Whyte.
Exactly.
He had absolutely no right to remove Dillian Whyte. But now we kicked the 2020 to 20, and it's all Fury's goddamn fault. What about all of this shit that was going on, bro? Like, this is what I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to get people to wrap their head around. What about all of this shit that was going on? Now everything is supposed to fall in Tyson Fury's hand.
Yeah, I'm sort of giving him the benefit of the doubt right now because, you know, I don't think
in a minute, yeah.
Because you know, I just, you know, I also look at the things that happened previously to that, and I have to sort of wait until Dillian Whyte starts to get his shit going on, and Tyson Fury as well. Once he's in that position, I have to kind of wait until that actually occurs.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So Mr. Two Hands, said he never had a first opportunity. He was treated as a fourth option and lowballed as fuck. So, first opportunity that he had. Now, for a championship, but then I'll get to the WBC specifically. But winning an official belt, Dillian Whyte would not be in this situation that he's in today. Let's get this in the open. If he have an official belt, whether it's the IBF, WBA, if he'd have had one of those belts, he wouldn't be in this situation, period. So, first opportunity he had is when he got his ass knocked out by AJ. That's called an opportunity. But he got knocked out, so he couldn't cash in on the opportunity. That's the first opportunity he had. The second opportunity he had was when the Miller fight fell through. And you can say he was lowballed, but it's still an opportunity to collect 3 belts. So they wasn't offering him fair money, but it was an opportunity. Now we have many boxers in history, especially the boxers that Mr. Two Hands, you, and a lot of us that are of like minds purport, the boxers of the past that say, you know what, I'm going to take this fight and get these belts, and then I'll get the money. But now, Dillian Whyte situation, oh, he was lowballed. No, that motherfucker could have took that fight, and then he would have had 3 belts after that fight. So forget about the lowball, because what would 3 belts be after that fight? What would that be worth? What would it be worth?
Yeah.
He was lowballed. He passed up an opportunity. Now let's go to the other opportunity that he never had. Fight Ortiz for the mandatory spot. He turned it down. Umpires just said it. Right here. Whyte has duck fights too. That's true. The WBC F Whyte in totality. Before Fury.
Yep.
So I don't want to hear this guy. I'm not hearing the sob story about a damn Dillian Whyte like this. Whoa, it's me, Whyte. Whyte has had his own transgressions and he has been responsible for it. And everybody is just neglecting all of that and putting everything in Fury's lap. That's what's going on right now. I'm not saying Fury ain't ducking. Yeah, he's ducking. But we can't put the whole goddamn situation all in Fury's lap because it ain't all his fault, bro.
It'd be different. Sorry, D.
No, go ahead, Brian.
I'm saying it would be different if Fury was the champion for the last 5 years. Then we could put it on his lap that he's ducked Whyte for this long. But he's only been champion a couple of months, and those couple of months have been COVID-19 bullshit that has halted just not the sport of boxing, but has halted the world. Even if they both fought in America, there'd still be a 14-day, both of them coming over in a plane, there'd be a 14-day quarantine.
Yeah, they got to do the 14-day quarantine.
Yeah. So how, you know, it's impossible right now to make fights happen, especially if you're coming from the UK, especially if you're coming from abroad. You know, these guys will only have, the only way these 2 guys can fight now is if they were both in the UK and they both had UK boxing license. One doesn't, one does.
Yeah.
That's the only way we can get the fight done reasonably now.
Right.
But we've got to February 2021 to get this fight done.
Right.
Yo, D.
Yeah.
Drop the link for 2 hands.
I'm not 4 on this show, bro. If you want to
No. I'm gonna drop down.
Oh, all right. That's what's up.
All
right, Mr. Two Hands. Here it goes. Link in the chat. So Shizbiz says your guy ducking, D. So you came in late, shit, because I started out with, yeah, he's ducking. So we agree. Umpire said, but Fury ducked Whyte on multiple occasions. True. I'm not going to say he didn't, but Whyte screwed himself on multiple occasions, right? Unbiased? Like, it's two-edged sword to that. Didn't Whyte screw himself severely on multiple occasions? Like, that's a fact. Mr. Two Hands up in the building.
Yo, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. I got shit to do. All of y'all motherfuckers got a bunch of holes in y'all statements. Y'all flip-flopping and y'all not keeping it a bean. If y'all gonna talk about the situation, know y'all shit and have it correct. When he first fought AJ, he wasn't a fucking world champion. That was for a Commonwealth belt. And that Luis Ortiz y'all talking about, that was a second mandatory. And clearly the PBC came out and Deontay Wilder came out and said he would have had to sign 3 fights to the PBC just to have that fight. That's extortion. You shouldn't have to do that to get a fucking fight. And third of all, if you are a fighter, I don't care. If you're on the same side of the street as Anthony Joshua, you already making $9 million on your own pay-per-views, $7 million on your own pay-per-views, $5 million on your first or second Chisora fucking fight. How are you going to accept $4 or $5 million and get the shorter end on the back end? But Andy Ruiz gets what he wants, though. So it's supposed to be fuck the business. I'm supposed to take Vaseline up my ass any old kind of way for a belt. And if I lose, because nobody would be acting like this if Andy Ruiz didn't win that fight. Because Andy Ruiz wasn't supposed to win that fight. He lost to Anthony Joshua the first time. You're supposed to secure your money on the fucking front and the back end, regardless of how confident you are. So you can't sit up there and dismiss Fury right now in a current situation where Dillian Whyte has been screwed since 2017, since he had the fucking silver belt. You can't dismiss that shit when he clearly goes out in a fucking article and says out his own mouth right now that he's going to drop the WBC belt as a champion. So for that, he is a duck. And for the situation, you can't sit up there and say Dillian Whyte fucked himself because you would have chose to get fucked on the back end and take the smaller percentage. That's bullshit. Now for me, even if I feel confident I can knock a motherfucker out, if I already fought this nigga once and he dropped me and left my fucking arms in a crucifix, I'm not going to get fucked on my cash, period. So I'm not going to sit up there and go with this theory of he need to get fucked with Vaseline because it was fucking some belts there. Come on now, y'all tripping. $4 or $5 million and they offer fucking Luis Ortiz what? Come on, man. Y'all not keeping it a buck right now.
Hold on. You done?
Yeah, they offered him a couple £1 million to fight in Oscar Rivas' place. Somebody's got you got background noise.
That's with the Two Hands mic. So, no holes in these statements up here because I don't know when you came in, Mr. Two Hands, but your whole thing is like on Fury's part, the ducking situation, bro. We've already established that Fury ducked, so that's not the issue. Now, when we say that Dillian Whyte did not blow opportunities, you got some holes in your game there, bro. You got some holes in your game because we were just talking about this whole Dillian Whyte Wilder situation yesterday, bro. He blew the opportunity.
He did.
He blew that opportunity. Anybody else want to speak on that?
Can I jump in? Good morning. I think maybe some perspective could be gained from a new, listing the number of opportunities that Dillian Whyte turned down when the WBC needed Dillian Whyte to actually help them clear up their mandatory and their championship position because of a bunch of failed tests. Right, the first time was when Stavern offered him the fight that Brazil got in the first place, but he turned it down. Right, so Brazil wound up in that spot. But that was the first time he said nah to an eliminator or to a mandatory shot at the WBC. After that, like you said, it was Ortiz who was his second eliminator. Sure, but you know what? Instead of seeing Ortiz the second time, we could have got Whyte as the second eliminator because he would have knocked off Ortiz, presumably, if he had taken that fight. So there would have been no need to see Ortiz again, regardless of what happened with Wilder in the first fight. You would have got Whyte in that spot. So that's a second opportunity that he passed up, bitching that it wasn't good enough for him, right? And the reason why he didn't take that fight was because the reason why he didn't take the fight later on with the Chisora rematch was because he said that fight wasn't good enough for him. Even with that Chisora rematch, Dominic Breazeale stepped up and said, "I'll fight you for the mandatory spot." But that fight wasn't good enough because he wanted a UK pay-per-view. Right? If you want, when it came to the AJ negotiation that got lowballed, the reason why he got lowballed is because he didn't take the Pulev fight that would have made him mandatory if he won. And the reason why he didn't take the Pulev fight that would have made him mandatory if he won and got him a better bargaining position for the AJ fight was because it wasn't good enough for him. He wanted to make more money. So all of these things is about Dillian Whyte making choices for his own pockets, making sure his bread was right, and not giving a damn about what the sanctioning bodies had to say about his career. Now he wants those same sanctioning bodies to make him their champion and to bend over backwards. Now I get, and I'm with the idea that Tyson Fury, when the WBC ordered that fight with Dillian Whyte, and Tyson Fury, instead of fighting Dillian Whyte, fought Otto Wallin, that was some bullshit, right? We've all said that's a duck. That is the only thing that Dillian Whyte could say something about Tyson Fury. Other than that, Dillian Whyte has been about his pockets. That's fine that he's about his pockets. But you know what? Andy Ruiz had a lesser deal than Dillian Whyte, and he is the one who is a former two-time former unified champion. Dillian Whyte has never had a championship fight, yet he is a multi-millionaire because he has been taking care of his pockets, not taking care of what the sanctioning body's business and the sanctioning bodies has asked him to do.
I just don't understand why Dillian Whyte is all of a sudden getting all of these passes, bro. Like I don't get it. Like IBT just, I don't know. Like some of these comments I'm reading, I'm just going to assume that you guys weren't here in the beginning, right? Because IBT just said Fury can be blamed because he's already talking about dropping the damn title to avoid Mando for no reason. Which earlier in this, I've already called him a duck with that same reasoning. The same exact reasoning. So, and then see, like a lot of people, I guess they coming up here acting as if the ducking part, guys, no need to come up here and click the link and argue about the ducking part because we already agreed that he ducked. What I'm saying is everything that's going on with Dillian Whyte right now, a lot of people are putting all of that heat on Fury and nothing about where Dillian Whyte slipped up in his own career. We sitting here acting like everybody coming to defend Dillian Whyte is acting like Dillian Whyte ain't made no mistakes, ain't done nothing to screw himself in his own career. Like, bro, he has done plenty to screw himself. And we ain't going to gloss over that and act like he didn't and try to blame everybody else, Suleiman, Wilder, Tyson Fury, like Dillian Whyte just super innocent in this whole thing. Get the fuck out of here with that. And shout out to Johnny Boy. Here you go, Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy, here's the world's smallest violin playing for Whyte. And I agree with you. Violin music. I'm not trying to hear that sob shit with Dillian Whyte, bro. This is my thing. Fury's ducking, okay? And look, even my man, shout out to my man, Wasi Rahman. Get this smoke ain't completely wrong. You goddamn right, get this smoke ain't completely wrong. I don't agree with everything Smoke said in that statement, but he had a hell of a lot of valid points in that statement. See, people that just want to sit here and take up for Dillian Whyte, they don't want to accept none of that, Wasi. They don't want to accept nothing that Smoke is saying. They don't want to accept nothing that I'm saying. They want to blame everything on Fury, Suleiman, Wilder, and Whyte is super innocent. He ain't did nothing. He did the right thing his whole goddamn career. That's bullshit. That's what's bullshit. Whyte has to be held accountable for a lot of his issues, bro. He has to be held accountable for a lot of his issues right now. He has to be. We can't just, I'm not dismissing Fury. I've not dismissed Fury this whole time. My thing is that I'm trying to get people to understand that blame has to go in other places. We can't put all of this on Fury. And that's where a lot of heat is coming toward Fury. Tyson Fury ain't shit. Tyson Fury ain't no real champ. Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury, Tyson Fury. What about Whyte? What about Whyte? What about Suleiman? What about Finkel and Heyman? Didn't they play any part in any of this? Or was it all Fury, and it's all Fury's fault because he won't fight Whyte now when he has 2 major fights ahead of him? So Dillian Whyte took fights to take care of his pockets, but now that Fury is going to take fights to take care of his pockets, he's the worst person in the world because Whyte is in a fucked up situation. Because that's what we're talking about here. Dillian Whyte has made moves to get more money when he could have took better fights and put himself in a better position. Now in 2020, he's in a fuck position, but he had a lot to do with that because he went after the money. So now in 2020, because Mauricio Suleiman and Fury and all of them screwed Whyte for so long, now, I mean, not Fury, Wilder and them screwed Whyte for so long, now Fury gets the belt. And everything is supposed to go, Fury's this, Fury's that, Fury. Well, what about all the shit Whyte did? What about all the shit Wilder did? Yeah. Are we just going to dismiss all of that?
Yeah. Eddie Hearn now is pushing, now that there's a monster at Anthony Joshua's door called Tyson Fury, now he's pushing for the mandatory. This is probably the loudest I have heard in 3 years. Eddie Hearn shout for a mandatory fight for Dillian Whyte. And if AJ ducks Tyson Fury, it's not the first time he's ducked undisputed. If you want to go that duck right, because he also did not take the Wilder fight.
Yeah,
that's me.
Again, it's just like this, bro. I don't know. I won't even sit up here and act like I know all of Dillian Whyte's missteps, because I don't. But there are some that I know he's made, and people that's coming up here charging that Fury, they ain't mentioning none of that shit. Or they're making excuses about why this didn't happen and why that didn't happen and why this didn't happen. You know, but none of the other factors about what led Whyte to that situation.
A lot of it's Whyte's fault.
A lot of it is Whyte's issues, bro. And nobody's talking about that. Right now, it's all Fury. Fury ain't no real champ. He ducking the mandatory. And I just said this yesterday. I don't know what the fuck people expecting from Fury, but let's pay attention. History repeats itself. Fury ain't did nothing his whole career but fight big fights and bullshit in between. Now, all of a sudden, y'all expect Fury to be something different than what he's been the whole time? Y'all don't expect Wilder to be nothing different than what he's been the whole time. Y'all even say it. Everybody even says it. Well, Wilder came, his whole goddamn career, he did this, he did this. Well, Fury's whole goddamn career, he fought big and bullshit in between. Now everything is expected to be different. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here.
What I'm missing is, where was all of those chorus of voices who were screaming about how great unifications are and wanting to see undisputed? Now, why all of a sudden is the loudest voices about mandatories? Like, that's what people were screaming like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. It was all about undisputed. Now all of a sudden that goes out the window because Dillian Whyte people feel like they need to press for the rights of Dillian Whyte.
Because Eddie Hearn's pressing this issue.
Eddie Hearn's been pressing the issue. Listen, Eddie Hearn has been, whenever there's been it's some sort of controversy around Dillian Whyte's position in WBC, you see Eddie Hearn up there. He's already threatened to sue the WBC a bunch. When it suits him, it's just fine. But when it's time to make those fights, Eddie Hearn is nowhere to be seen. He's losing purse bids. He's trying to make UK-only pay-per-views. He's not doing his client a favor when it's time to do him a favor. But when it's controversy time, there he is with the lawyer and social media. Like, what I'm asking for is, why is these voices all of a sudden the voices that we're hearing, the voices of the hardcore mandatories? Like, who the hell cares about a damn mandatory at all?
Let me piggyback off you real quick, Smoke, because the same fucking Eddie Hearn that everybody's talking about is the same fucking Eddie Hearn who Mr. Two-Hand just said fuck Dillian Whyte. Who made him the goddamn offer, bro? Who made Whyte the offer for AJ? Who did it? All you Whyte defenders, who made the goddamn offer to Dillian Whyte for AJ? Was it not Eddie Hearn?
It was.
Not Eddie Hearn.
It was.
Okay.
So Eddie Hearn, the guy that they're gonna praise now or say, well, Eddie Hearn is Eddie Hearn. He was the same person who fucked Dillian Whyte. Again, Dillian Whyte's own. Who does he work with?
His own.
Okay. So he got fucked by his own people. And now it's all Fury's fault.
Just to dispel and Mr. Two Hands Up, dude, it's nothing but respect. So I love what you come with. But really, the Dillian Whyte, through a live omission, had the WBC sanction a fight that had a failed drug test over it. That is not the WBC screwing Dillian Whyte over a failed piss test. That is Dillian Whyte failing a piss test and screwing the WBC.
Well, ho. No.
That came back like a couple of twice. So
let me rewind that, Smoke. That is UCAD making a fucking up. That's what that was. UCAD fucked up.
All right, wait, listen, I'm not mad at UCAD. I don't know the UCAD story. There's plenty of blame to go around, but specifically, it's not UCAD that failed the test. It is Dillian Whyte who failed the test. It's Dillian Whyte's fight. So really, UCAD definitely have their own issues when it comes to this situation. But also, Dillian Whyte knew he had a failed test, knew the WBC sanctioned the fight, and knew he didn't pick up the phone and let him know.
So, Smoke, if you have a failed test but you're cleared, then you didn't fail the test, did you?
But he didn't get cleared until much later.
I don't care.
Yes, he still failed the test. Yes, he still failed the test.
No, he still failed the test. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Okay, just because you get a doctor's note doesn't mean that you didn't skip. Listen, if you don't go to hold up. If you fail a test and then they clear you and say the test is cleared, it's consistent with contamination, that's fine. You have been cleared to fight, and you're not. But before they come back with that determination, you have an obligation to notify whoever it is who is associated with that fight, so they're not tainted by your failed test.
No. That I agree with, because I debated somebody about that.
No, because he was clear to fight.
No, hold on.
He was clear to fight.
Eric, hold on. Let me finish. I debated with somebody on what Smoke was saying about Eddie. Well, I was coming from Eddie Hearn side, because Eddie Hearn knew about the test. So yeah, he was required to report that. Like his team, Dillian Whyte's team. So if that's what you're saying, Smoke, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like,
no,
way before he was cleared, he just had a failed test. At the moment he had a failed test, he wasn't cleared. He just had a failed test, and they notified him that he had a failed test, and they did nothing about it. Instead, what they did was try to hide it and sweep it under the rug. And then the WBC found out when we found out.
That's your narrative. That's your narrative.
No, it's the WBC's narrative.
No, because what happened was they found something in his test. They brought him in for a meeting. They had the meeting. They was happy with the explanation of whatever was in the test. They was happy with it. He was clear to fight. He was cleared to fight. Eddie Hearn or nobody was allowed to speak about the test legally. They were not allowed to speak of it to anybody. So that's why the test results didn't come out, and it only came out afterwards.
Sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
So they wasn't legally. They couldn't speak about the test. He didn't actually fail the test. If he had failed the test, completely failed the test, he would not have been allowed to fight. We know that. If you fail a test, you would not be allowed to fight. He didn't fail the test. They found something that they were worried about. They brought him in for a meeting. Then that was cleared up. So he didn't actually fail a test. They wanted to question him about the test. He never failed. And that proved later on when he was cleared.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that he failed the test.
He didn't fail.
Asked him for a meeting about the failed test. And in that time, I can get your explanation absolves Eddie Hearn of telling them, because I didn't bring Eddie Hearn in it. Because as you said, maybe there's a legal issue about Eddie Hearn telling him about Dillian Whyte's test. But there's no legal issue about Dillian Whyte telling WBC about the failed test. That's fine that he can go in and give it. That's fine that after the failed test, he went and had a meeting, but he didn't tell the WBC about the meeting. He didn't tell them about any of it.
Yeah, but it wasn't a failed test. They found something.
It was a failed test. That's what the meeting was about. The media test. I got it. You want to erase it all because they like this. They liked his excuse. He gave him an excuse that they bought. That doesn't mean that he didn't fail the test in the first.
No, the test wasn't failed, because if the test had failed, the fight would have fell through. The test wasn't failed.
Bro, that's not what happened. The fight went through because they accepted.
D, I can't hear you. D, you're on mute. You either on mute or you can't hear you.
Oh yeah, no, I thought it was me. I thought it was me. I went out the room and everything. It's you, D.
Go ahead, guys. I only put y'all backstage because I just want y'all to go one at a time, bro. Nobody can hear when y'all do that, bro.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I was just saying, Eric. That just because the UCAD accepted his excuse, that doesn't mean he never failed the test in the first place. What they did was they accepted his reasoning for why the banned substance was in his system, and then he was allowed to fight that night, pending the investigation that was ongoing.
So explain to me what that has to do with the WBC, because the WBC had no right to strip him.
No, because the WBC is the one sanctioning the fight. They're sanctioning a fight that is under the cloud of a failed test, and he didn't tell them.
D, you're on mute again. You're on mute. You're on mute, bro.
All right, y'all check this out. I got two people backstage, Johnny Boy and Mr. Two Hands. This is what I want to do, because I knew this topic was going to be freaking massive. I already knew it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch out. I'm going to let people get up here and get their chance to spit their piece. I'm going to let Johnny Boy up. I'm going to let Mr. Two Hands up. You and Smoke, I'm going to switch y'all two out, because y'all two going back and forth. So I'm going to take turns switching y'all two out. That way it'll be easier. No
doubt. All good.
Hold on, Mr. Two Hand. Johnny Boy. Mr. Two Hand, I'm going to let Johnny Boy, and then I'm going to let you come back. Johnny Boy. All right, Johnny Boy, go ahead.
I got shit to do, D. I just wanted to come for a couple minutes, spit my piece, and fucking, bro. Look, see now, this is what Johnny Boy loves to do, bro. He sees people are sensitive about talking about AJ and all this other shit, so that's what I do, bro. I see your G spot, dog, and I'm flicking the bean, son. You understand? Like, fuck, dog. Quit being so sensitive, bro. How come every time this cat's got a chance to fight for undisputed, this little lapdog Dillian Whyte comes barking from around the backyard talking about, what about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? Fuck out of here, bro. Fury, AJ, or nothing, dog. That man ain't gonna have no kind of respect for me till I see him and Fury standing across the ring from each other. None. Zippo or Usyk, but he's gonna vacate. Or Usyk, but he's gonna vacate that title and not fight him anyhow. So. But shit, bro. Brian heard me this morning, dog. Fuck this kid, dog. Every time this dude's got a chance to fight for undisputed, some bullshit comes up, and they start throwing the Dillian Whyte fucking barricade in everybody's way.
I didn't want to mention that, Johnny, because I knew you might be on.
Oh yeah, well.
Let me get Mr. Two Hands up here. I'm gonna get, you finished, Johnny?
And look, real quick, D. Let me just say this too. Everybody's got their opinion. I respect everybody's opinion on it. I respect everybody else's mind. That's just my opinion. So don't, there ain't no reason mad to get mad, nothing like that. But that's some sucker shit. Fuck Dillian Whyte, undisputed or nothing.
I feel you. I'm with you. All right, I'm gonna let Mr. Two Hands get ready to go in. Smoke, don't do it. Just hold your peace, dog. Cause
I'm on mute, man. I'm all ears, man. I'm all ears.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got.
So, look, I just basically wanted to say this, right? Because I think y'all distorting so many freaking lines over here, man. Like, These are two separate issues. Dillian Whyte, regardless of however you feel about an individual's past, it doesn't have anything to do with his present. But if we look at his past situation and we look at the past couple of years, he was screwed. Now, people wanted to bring up the Dominic Breazeale situation. How long did Dominic Breazeale get screwed by Deontay Wilder? And how long did Deontay Wilder duck Dominic Breazeale? And how long did they push back his mandatory because they looked at Dominic Breazeale as a puncher? But when it came time, when it got crunch time, what happened? They pushed Dominic Breazeale over Dillian Whyte in their mandatory spot, right? So he got that fight on May 18th. Then all of a sudden he's in a 3-contract deal. All of these phantom theories about Anthony Joshua ducking undisputed, just like, you know, like he said, everybody got opinion. Opinions like assholes, everybody got them. But for me, I like to elaborate and go into detail a little bit more. All of these fake theories about this man ducked and all of this stuff comes up when Anthony Joshua's ready to go for undisputed. I don't recall Anthony Joshua. I shouldn't have to run down the story, but Anthony Joshua had to run down the freaking undisputed, try to pay that man $120 million and make undisputed. Didn't happen. Now we're in a situation now where Tyson Fury, and this is where I'm going with blurred lines. Tyson Fury goes in the article once again, and he says that he's going to drop a belt. The fans' problem has nothing to do with, it doesn't, where they correlate in a sense is the fact that Dillian Whyte is the mandatory and his mandatory spot is up February 2021. Where it becomes some fuck shit for the fans is the fact that the fans expect him to honor his mandatory obligation and not drop it because it looks shaky every time that you got to defend. All of a sudden you dropping it and then you ask for the fight on a diamond belt and they mandated it for you and you backed out of that. So what I'm saying is these are two completely different situations because regardless of whatever Dillian Whyte did choose to do in his past or he didn't choose to do, the current event showed that the WBC screwed him. They didn't hold up their end, so he's suing them on that behalf. And in the other situation, it just falls on fans and how we feel about Tyson Fury and how I feel about Tyson Fury as a champion saying that he doesn't want to honor the mandatory, but you got Anthony Joshua on the other end saying he's going to fight Alexander Usyk and Kubrat Pulev because he don't want to give up the belt because he wants to be undisputed and he worked for him. So what I'm saying is we can't use one issue and try to say, oh, we're trying to put it all on Tyson Fury because nobody is trying to do that. We are putting the pressure on Tyson Fury for the situation at hand for a motherfucker that's gotten fucked over. And if Tyson Fury was in that exact same situation, even if Deontay Wilder, well, I can't say that because he kind of perpetuated the situation. But if any other fighter was in that situation, we would want the same type of justice for him. We would want the same type of venom for the individual talking that kind of talk. And as far as Mauricio Suleiman, we've been dragging his ass. So, I mean, Dillian Whyte is doing all he can do at this point. He isn't fucked or isn't backed in the corner. A sanctioning body is supposed to protect you so you can get the title fight. So all I'm saying is we can't blur the lines and say we're trying to make it a pro-Tyson Fury thing. People just feel strongly about their champion saying that he's going to drop it and not fight this guy. Why not? Get him out the way. Everybody got mandatories, baby. That's all I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, like, let's not distort the lines and make it like it's a Dillian Whyte fucked himself all the way around the board. Nah, Dillian Whyte got fucked around the board the same way Dominic Breazeale got fucked around the board when they fucked him for that long time and they finally picked him as the fucking the lesser of the two evils. So I'm just saying we can't act like if Dillian Whyte would have did this, it was going to work out because we've seen the pattern of history with the WBC. So let's not be dismissive of that, and let's not be dismissive of what Tyson Fury said because that's the only reason we are here at this very moment having this conversation. But that's all I have to say.
I agree with you.
I partially disagree, but I'll explain it later. But let me.
I agree with you in one way. Now that there is no Wilder, he's out injured. It should be Dillian Whyte, and then the winner of that there should go on to face Anthony Joshua next year.
All right.
If I could just interject, like really the issue that started all of this was the WBC. Oh, go ahead.
Brian, I'm gonna get somebody. We got a line full. I'm gonna bring you back, Brian. Just stay backstage. I'm gonna put you back.
No worries. No worries.
All right. Go ahead, Smoke.
I'm good. I can back out so somebody else can come on. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I just need to say that. I'm gonna listen from the chat though.
Yeah, I think
if you want somebody else to come in.
I think there's a piece of context missing from what's going on here, and that is the fact that the WBC, the thing that started this whole domino effect, is the WBC trying to get their drug problem under the PD problem under control by switching to VADA. And when they switched to VADA, they had a whole bunch of people pop dirty. They had a whole bunch of people pop dirty and found themselves in a situation where they asked for their guys to step up. Dillian Whyte didn't do it. They needed clarification. No, let me finish. Let me finish. They needed clarification. The guys that were ranked ahead of Dillian Whyte either popped dirty or had a fight with Wilder, and they asked Dillian Whyte to help with their mandatory situation that also got messed up in the process. He declined. He didn't like the terms for himself at the time. That is what's been going on for the last 2 years. Them trying to figure out their mandatory situation and their title challenger situation because of a bunch of failed tests, including Tyson Fury.
You done? All right. So let me cook real quick, because I've been listening, and a lot of stuff is just, like Two Hands said, is blurred lines. All right. So the WBC, before Tyson Fury even became a champion, they fucked Dillian Whyte over. They did. You know what I'm saying? He offered Dominic Breazeale a fight in Cardiff before Dominic Breazeale fought Eric Molina. Those two were supposed to fight as a title eliminator to become the mandatory for Deontay Wilder. Dominic Breazeale said, no, I'm good. And he instead fought Eric Molina, an easier fight. That's what happened. All right. And then Stavern and Povetkin popped dirty, right? Ortiz also popped dirty, but it's funny enough, right? Because supposedly Dillian Whyte popped dirty, and they then removed him from mandatory, but Povetkin popped dirty, and then they threw him in a title eliminator to fight for Deontay Wilder's mandatory position, which then Povetkin popped dirty in that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird. It's weird how they keep pushing Dillian Whyte away from the mandatory position to fight Deontay Wilder at that point, right? So that's not Tyson Fury. So I'm not blaming Tyson Fury for that. Now, what I will say about Tyson Fury, when it comes to Dillian Whyte, even before this situation, he has always sounded like he don't want the work. That's what it sounded like to me, because beforehand he made a list, and this was I can't even get the video. This is like 11 months ago, where he made a list, had Dillian Whyte on it, and then he said, then he took it off. A week in that same week, he said, never mind, I'm not fighting Dillian Whyte. He's a bum. He's a shit house. I'll never fight him. That's what he said. And now he's saying, I'll drop the belt if you guys force me to fight him. It just sounds like you don't want to fight the guy. That's what it sounds like to me.
I'm biased. But going back before that, when Fury was coming back to boxing after his hiatus, Eddie Hearn tried to sign him and gave him a list with names on it to fight. And Dillian Whyte was one of those names on that list. Then to fight AJ. And he was not interested. He turned that deal down to go and fight Pianetta and to fight Safari. So he's been turning down Dillian Whyte fights. He's been doing that a long time. So when people say Dillian Whyte deserves a shot at the title, no matter who has the title, I don't care. WBC fucked Fury over with what they did with Wilder with Whyte. Listen, Fury's second fight with Wilder should have never happened. Dillian Whyte should have been fighting Wilder before that second fight. I don't care what anybody says. So the fact that Fury got that second fight before Wilder got his first fight, then Fury has to get the brunt of it right now, because he fought for the title, he won the title, then therefore he has to defend the fucking title against his mandatory.
Hold on. Didn't Wilder and them target Fury?
Yeah, they did. But the WBC allowed it. They allowed it.
Hold on, Eric. Hold on. I don't give a shit. And this is what I keep saying. I don't give a flying fuck what Wilder, Finkel, the WBC, or the PBC did to Whyte. I have already acknowledged that. And I don't know how many times in this goddamn show I have to say that Fury did duck Whyte. So I have acknowledged those two things. What I'm saying now is that, Fury can take some heat. Now, Mr. Two Hands, you might not be putting it all on Fury. I'm biased. You might not be putting it all on Fury. But y'all go listen to some of these goddamn videos out here. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody's making like this is all Fury. No fucking body is talking about Whyte's. I got you all, Jedi. Nobody's talking about Whyte's discretion unbiased. Do you believe that Whyte had nothing to do with his situation? Do you believe that?
Now, he ducked AJ to me. That's a fact. To me, he ducked AJ. You know, saying that he didn't make enough for 3 belts. According to what Eddie said, they were willing to pay him the same amount as or I think it was a little bit lesser than, was it the same amount as Big Baby Miller? I feel like it was.
We can be safe to say you agree that Whyte had played some part in fucking himself as well, correct?
Versus AJ, I agree. Now the WBC.
This is my whole point. Real quick, this is my whole point, and this is what I started off with. I said clearly Fury has something, but what we're not going to do is put everything on fucking Fury as if Whyte didn't do shit to screw himself as well. This is what I said from the beginning. And now I got all of these people coming at me. Ayob saying I'm playing the other side. I don't play sides, Ayob. I don't play sides. I play boxing, fam. I come from boxing.
It's Fury's comments saying he will drop the belt. That's why he's getting flamed.
Eric, you are not listening to me, bro. Because Fury's saying that he'll drop the belt. Fury, I have called Fury a ducker. How many fucking times do y'all?
No, I know what. Yeah, but you just said you don't see why Fury's getting all this flame. I'm saying the whole reason why.
Eric, so you gotta listen. I said I just said, Mr. Two Hands, no, not you. Unbiased, no, not you. And now Eric, no, not you. But go 2 fucking channels, bro. If Jedi is he's agreeing with this too. Y'all go 2 channels. This is why I put this up. We are all boxing minds in the Speak Your Mind Sports Talk family. So we can't sit here and take our deals and think that that's how it is all around YouTube. A lot of people are putting all of this on Fury. So you might not be. Mr. G.
People are probably upset with Fury because if he does not fight Dillian Whyte, then there is no undisputed.
Period. I ain't trying to defend Fury at all about why people should be upset that he's not bringing this heat on himself, because y'all keep saying that. I know Fury's doing dumb shit. So we don't need to keep reiterating that. What we need to account for is Whyte has done shit to fuck himself also. And as every time I say that, I'm getting people come at, well, Fury did this, Fury did this, Fury did this. But nobody is acknowledging that Whyte has done things to fuck himself also.
No, he did. He did.
Thank you,
I agree with you.
Thank you, Unbiased. Thank you, Eric. And that is what I said in the beginning of this goddamn live. Y'all can rewind it. That is the exact angle that I had come from in the beginning of this live. Jedi, go ahead, fam.
All right, what's up? What's going on, boxing fans? What's going on, everybody? Listen, nobody is wrong here. I just want to say this right now. Nobody here is wrong. People that are defending Whyte aren't wrong. People that are defending Fury aren't wrong. Let me break it down to you. First of all, you got to put your fandom aside. I don't care how much you love any of these motherfuckers. You got to put them aside. Let's take a look at what Fury said. All right. This is why it's ruffling a lot of Whyte fans and a lot of heavyweight boxing fans, because we just finished being fucking held captive from fully unification, undisputed and stuff. And we, with Fury giving promises, we thought, hey, this is what this is the jacket he's wearing. He's going out like that. And he also said that when he gets the titles and stuff like that, he's going to take on everybody after he unified. So this is what we're expecting. He put himself up on that model. On top of all of that, you're a heavyweight champion, no matter who you're getting after for a first title defense. Because, God damn it, if Buster Douglas could grow the balls for his first title defense and go up against Holyfield, and you know what I mean, there's no reason why, Fury has to say, oh, they can't force me, because he's doing the same thing Canelo did when it was GGG the first time. Aquí no se juega, aquí no se venden mamadas. Remember that shit? Well, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing here. The problem here is that Fury has gained his right. Not to pick and choose, but to tell motherfuckers, you just wait right there, because I'm busy at the moment. The same thing if the titles were to go to Whyte. Whyte would hold that fucking right to tell people, y'all gotta fucking wait for a second. I'm doing something. Now, let's go to Whyte's issue. Whyte does deserve these fights. Yes, he does. No matter how much he screwed himself, because that's the first thing we got to come to grips with. Whyte has screwed himself. Yes, he has. This is why I'm saying nobody here is wrong. You know what I mean? But everybody's right. So what's all this about? Everybody should know what Whyte has done and Whyte has not done for himself. This is where it should end with Whyte. He does deserve it. but nobody told him to chase Wilder, then get your neck off of Wilder because big fat greasy Miller messed up, and now you want to step in and go and harass AJ now after he done whooped your ass. Like, you going out there like he owed you a rematch when he really didn't have to. So as soon as you went that way, the WBC said, he ain't serious. Okay, let's continue doing what we're doing with Wilder. Let's make him the serial face boxer. And this is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened. So now here we are. The reason why we're ruffled, most of our feathers are ruffled, is because we did not expect Fury to come out with that answer as to, no, I'm not giving Whyte shit. If they force me to do it, I'm giving up the title. Makes him look like he's running. He does have a point to tell motherfuckers, wait, but that shit that he said, I'm giving it up if they force me. Well, listen, first of all, these guys think that the name is bigger than the sport, and it's not. These rankings, this is exactly why mandatories, all that shit, this needs to come into fruition. The problem here is sanctioning bodies like the WBC, they use it to their benefit. The WBC has been sued for $40 million. All right, I think it was in the late 90s, the mid 90s, against a certain fighter that they snatched him from the rankings when he was supposed to be number one contender. This is why I respect Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte's beef is not with Fury. Our beef should not be with Fury. Our beef should be with the WBC, who keeps taking this man back and pulling him back, and then they're not even presenting anything to this dude. So it's like I said, Fury fans have a right to feel a little bothered, like, yo, Whyte, you're a pest, get away from. But at the same time, what if the shoe was on the other foot? Because before I have witnessed a lot of Wilder fans, a lot of Whyte fans, you know what I'm saying, or should I say Fury fans, say, yo, Dillian Whyte does deserve it, man. They keep robbing him when Wilder was the champ, but now that man is the champ. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the bionics don't work, right? No more, no more running with it, right? Okay, no problem, no problem. But now the Dillian Whyte fans,
check this out. And the same note, and I agree with that. 100%. Because I ain't one of those fucking Fury fans. Because, like I said, I just started the live out throwing charges at him. I didn't put the fucking, see, I ain't one of these fucking Fury fanboys. Do Fury fanboys make thumbnails like this? Keep it real. No, keep it real. Keep it real. Do Fury fanboys make thumbnails like that, calling him a duck? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not coming from the angle of these stupid fucking fanboys. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, we ain't gonna tip the scales all on one end. This is what I'm not bothered by anybody saying Fury ducked. You know why? Because he fucking ducked. I done said that before. So he ducked. So I'm not bothered by anybody saying he ducked. What I don't like and what I won't accept is all of these videos of people coming out like everything is on Fury now. Oh, because Fury, see, let's look at Fury's perspective here. Whether you agree with it or not, let's take a look at Fury's perspective here. Okay.
No, but everything is on Fury.
Can I finish, my nigga? Can I just?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, let's take a look at Fury's perspective. Okay, so Dillian Whyte, you have been getting fucked by these people and Wilder all this time. I come back off the couch. I get screwed over in the first fight by this guy. Then I get in the rematch by this guy. Now you're coming at me. I know you earned your way and you deserve it. But I worked my way back into boxing so I could get that goddamn 4-belt undisputed. So fuck you and all of that shit. I'm going this route. Did Fury not beat up Wilder? Did he not earn the right to go get 4-belt undisputed?
It won't be undisputed though, D. It won't be undisputed. And that's the thing.
Did he not earn the right to go get 3 belts? Did he not earn the right to do that, dog?
Yeah, but AJ wants to be undisputed. So you come with your franchise title, not an actual belt. I mean, what does that do? What does he bring to the table?
Okay. So like I was saying, hold on, time out, gentlemen. Time out.
Hold on. We keep going back to this situation. Fury talking about dumping the belts. Fury talking about accepting franchise. Everybody keeps bringing that to me when I'm agreeing with that shit. But nobody seems to be willing to hold Dillian Whyte account. Nobody seems to be wanting to hear what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, I'm agreeing that Fury made those discretions. But what about Whyte's transgressions? Everybody just talking about, well, Fury this, he ducking the belt, he been laying franchise. But what about the shit Whyte did? Because when
but we're talking about, see, but D, you keep right. You're going in the past, right? And we acknowledge and accept the fact that yes, Whyte did turn down AJ, but we're talking about right now. We could go in the past and talk about Fury and Whyte and their relationship, which seems like Fury has never wanted to fight Dillian. But let's stay right here, okay? Look, now Fury is saying he wants undisputed, right? He's saying that. But the simple fact that is he does not fight Dillian Whyte, he cannot achieve undisputed.
Okay, that's
not
what I'm saying. That's not true.
All right. Can I get this? Can I get this real quick?
What he said is not true. Fury just came out, and I just put this up on a video, and I'm gonna let you go right quick after this. It is not true, unbiased. Fury just came on the video, and I just did a video on this. He said this specifically. He said, I want to accomplish the goal of beating the best out there. Everybody is all tied up with these leather belts and these shiny little trinkets on it. I have owned every one of those belts. I've won every one of those belts. Now I'm back to beat the best, and Dillian Whyte just ain't the best. So AJ does want 4-belt undisputed, but Fury has already said he wants to beat AJ because then he will consider himself the best. And I can guarantee you, if he goes in there and he beats up AJ, whether it's for 4-belt undisputed or not, Fury would have accomplished his goals and everybody would look at him as the best. That's his goal. Everybody else wants to see 4-belt undisputed. That's why they so worried about the franchise belt. Everybody else wants Fury to do this, so that AJ can attract 4-belt undisputed. And that's why they're so pissed off at Fury. And I get that. Fury to come back and beat AJ and shut everybody mouths up about who's the best. That's what he said, fam. That's exactly what the man said.
Okay, so if AJ wants undisputed and Fury comes beltless,
that's AJ's fucking problem, bro. That's not.
No, that's Tyson Fury's problem too.
It's not Fury's problem because I'm biased. I just explained this to you. If he goes and beat AJ, he's accomplished his goal.
But how is he going to get the fight with no belt?
I'm biased. If he goes into a fight, fuck the belts, and beat AJ, that's his goal, to beat the best guy.
AJ's goal is to be undisputed.
It's not about 4-belt for Fury. It's about 4-belt for AJ.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, that again, just like y'all saying that the WBC and all of them screwed Dillian Whyte, but now it's in Fury's lap. Okay, I get that. Well, AJ, 4-belt undisputed is your fucking problem.
It is. Fury's. But then it becomes Fury's problem when he wants to fight AJ.
Okay, if AJ doesn't fight him, which okay, if AJ doesn't fight him, which they made an agreement that a financial agreement, so it doesn't
undisputed.
They're not trying to fight him
for undisputed. That's what AJ has been consistently saying. So if you come to the table beltless, that is not undisputed.
Okay, so if they don't fight him, then look, if AJ and Hearn decides not to fight Fury, right? If he comes with a franchise belt or beltless, and they say, well, we're not taking the fight, then Fury essentially did the same shit that Whyte has done to himself. He screws himself. And this is what I'm saying. Whyte has done things to screw himself. I know we're here in today's date, but we can't dismiss the past because, like I said earlier, had Whyte done other things, he wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, we're here now. But if he'd have taken different steps, he would have been in a different situation. So, like Fury is in this situation now. If he takes that franchise or dumps the belt, then he don't get his 4-belt undisputed. He screwed himself. And that's what everybody is going to say. They ain't going to blame somebody else. But now Whyte had played a part in screwing himself. I'm not saying it's all his fault, but he played some part. Now everybody wants to blame and put it all on Fury.
But D, let me ask you something else too, right? Because AJ is going to be fighting his mandatories in Pulev and then Alexander Usyk. So after Fury takes care of Wilder, what is he going to be doing? Fighting Big Baby Miller? Why not just fight your mandatory and get it out the way kind of thing and keep your belt? You know what I'm saying?
But I said that earlier, bro. See, this is the thing. I don't want people to keep repeating to me what I said. Because I said Fury. This is why I call Fury a duck, bro. I said, listen, if you calling everybody fucking doses and running around, you'll box everybody's head off. Just go beat Whyte up and move on. So I'm not disagreeing with those things like that, bro. That's what I think he should do. I said that myself. Just go fucking beat him up and then go fight AJ. So I don't disagree with that. But again, we ain't putting everything on Fury's laps. And that's what a lot of people are doing out here.
Yeah, we're all there with you. We're there with you when you say that. Yeah.
I know, but it didn't seem like it until this point. Not with you, but Mr. Two Hands came up here and went off. He didn't hear nothing I had to say. It was all, no, fuck that. All of y'all got holes, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, ain't no holes in what I'm saying. Do you find holes in what I'm saying? Because there's no holes in what I'm saying. It's holes in what casuals and fanboys are fucking saying. But again, I ain't these fucking casuals and fanboys out here. That ain't me, bro. So my points that I'm making are fucking valid. And ain't nobody gonna put all of this on Fury because in this time and right now, he's responsible for the fight. So all of the transgressions, all the bullshit the WBC did, all the bullshit that Dillian Whyte did to himself, now it gets to Fury. Well, Fury, you got to do this. Well, what the fuck, bro? Like, everybody got to be held accountable. That's really my whole point. Everybody got to be held accountable. We can't start making videos all now, Fury, and nobody else is taking accountability. No, fuck that, bro.
Yeah, in my case, every single person who's done whatever they've done in this situation has been held accountable.
You want to eat them all?
They've all been held accountable by me because WBC have fucked him, Wilder fucked him, and right now Fury hasn't. As of yet, Fury hasn't fucked him. He's speaking like he's going to, but he hasn't. As of yet.
Fury actually in the past said you got what you guys are doing to Dillian Whyte is criminal. It's a shame. You guys should give him his shot. He did say that. And that was when they mandated him to fight Dillian Whyte. That's exactly when Tyson Fury said that. And he said, no, I'm not going to fight him. He deserves a shot. Let him get a shot. So that's what happened.
Hey, hold on. Mr. Two Hands, I'm not singling you out, fam. You came right up here and said all y'all motherfuckers got holes in y'all. So that included me, dog. Right or wrong, Mr. Two Hands. Don't take it personal because I'm not mad, and you know that. So don't take nothing personal. But when you come on this panel and say all y'all motherfuckers, and I'm sitting here on that panel, dude, you came at me too. And I just spoke on it. So it ain't no, okay, y'all did, but you did say y'all, so I just came at you. How's that singling you out when you came and charged at me, fam? Come on with that.
We also need to take into account, right, that Tyson Fury is a crackhead. So sometimes their personalities switch. So I think that we should look at that too.
I'm biased. I'm
just saying.
We can't deal on Dillian Whyte's past, but now Fury's still a crackhead.
Hey, I'm biased.
So we can't deal on Dillian Whyte's past. We can't, but now Fury's still a crackhead, right?
I'm just joking.
I'm biased. You got de-triggered.
I hear people saying right now, well, I don't even trust Fury. He's going to mentally fall out of this, and he ain't going to do this and this anyway because of his past. So I didn't know whether you were joking or not because I'm sure that you've been here too.
I will say though, like right now, this current moment, since he's not in the gym technically. I know he's working out at home, but that's not really like a gym. He could have a lapse. I'm not saying he is, but right now it's maybe the weak point. I don't think he will. I actually think he will beat Wilder successfully. So, but if somebody were to say that, I could maybe kind of understand because he's at home. He's not in the gym focused, but he is working out though. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, at the early points of the COVID, I'd understand, but he's been active the whole way through it. We're coming to the end of it right now, so I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be fine. He's gone through the hard bits already. I believe he's gone this far.
Yeah, for me, we had a whole conversation yesterday for hours about fans' self-interest versus a fighter's self-interest. What Fury's self-interest is in this point, I'm not that mad at because it does build legacy. It does build money. Sure, it's not for what the sanctioning bodies. I don't even think the sanctioning bodies want undisputed either, to be perfectly honest with you. It fucks up their business model, but whatever. For those who are into unification, to break to create a new dynasty who won an undisputed, I get it. You're just gonna have to cry on your beer on this one, because when the history is retold, it's gonna show Tyson Fury fighting AJ, not for how many. I mean, sure, how many belts on the line will be part of the conversation, but it's not going to be the conversation. The conversation is going to be Fury fought AJ.
Yeah, but Smoke, that fight's not going to happen. Like
when they're both in their prime.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You need a belt. You're going to need a belt for undisputed. That's what AJ has.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Hold on, but Smoke,
I'm saying to you, that's not going to get undisputed. That's what the people who want undisputed, they're not going to get that. But what they will get is what they will get. Hold on a second.
Hold on, Smoke. I was just going to say,
bro, it's got to be.
Damn, Smoke. Damn, bro. Let me just respond to what you're saying real quick, and then the floor is yours. Now, look. AJ's whole marketing plan has been undisputed. Okay. Now, if Tyson Fury does not come with that belt that he's holding, what does he bring to the table? His name, that's it. But AJ's whole entire goal is to be undisputed.
Right. But his goal is not to be undisputed against Tyson Fury. It's just to be undisputed. Right.
Yeah.
So it's because, I mean, AJ's still going to continue on fighting. He's not going to get undisputed against Pulev or Usyk or anybody else who doesn't have the belt that he still has to fight, right? So what he does get, while he may not get 4-belt undisputed, because what Tyson Fury has going on in his own brain and whatever his self-interests are, he still gets to fight Tyson Fury in his prime. And it's still, and Tyson Fury with a belt or without a belt will still represent the biggest threat to AJ since Klitschko, and maybe even more so than Klitschko.
Okay. Let me just say this. I agree with you. The only way the Tyson Fury Joshua happens without Fury being a belt holder is after Joshua fights Dillian Whyte. If Tyson Fury drops that belt, because he'll go for 4-belt undisputed, he'll fight Dillian Whyte, beat Dillian Whyte, then he will fight Fury. Because AJ's already said he wants to fight Fury. I agree with you. The fight will happen. But I don't believe that fight happens without a belt, without Fury having a belt, or before AJ gets undisputed. That's the only way that fight will happen. Either he's already undisputed, or Fury comes with a belt.
And I think AJ, if what you're saying is true, AJ is the perfect. He's running a test. He's seeing whether or not fans are gullible enough to let sanctioning bodies tell fans who the best is, or are fans smart enough and savvy enough and sophisticated enough to actually know who the best is, regardless of who has the title at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've got a bit of a different take on all of this.
What's up, John? I want to hear from John.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, how you doing, John?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great. So go ahead, weigh in on.
Well, my take on it is, I think that the Usyk mandatory may well get called. So then AJ's going to have 2 fights.
Yeah, we've said that.
Yeah. But if Usyk's and Pulev are AJ's next 2 fights, do you really think that Fury won't fight Dillian if it's called? I just think this is typical Tyson Fury talking his talk.
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
He loves saying one thing and doing another. And anyone who takes Tyson Fury seriously about what he's doing next after the fight in front of him that's already signed, I don't anyway. So that's what I think my different take is, in that I think this is just typical Fury talking his talk to wind people up. And if anything, people will be more interested in a Dillian Whyte fight if he says he's not going to fight him, if he says he's going to drop the belts, and then he ends up fighting him. Fury's really smart, manipulative guy who uses the media like that. And he's getting loads of traction from actually saying he's not going to fight Dillian, isn't he? We're all talking about it.
Yeah, it's building. Yeah. It is. You're right. You are right, because he is building the fight right now, and without any promotion whatsoever, it's building hype for the fight. So you could well be right. Fury could be, because we know what Fury's like. You never know when he's going to tell you the truth or not.
Look, just watch what he does. Don't listen to what he says. That's the type of guy he is.
Yeah, and maybe because Wilder's out injured right now. Maybe he thinks, well, do I know something? How am I gonna sell this fight and get more money off the public, especially after the pandemic we're all going through? especially after COVID-19. He says, well, you know what? I'm not going to fight him. Then he makes a phone call to Dillian Whyte. You chase me and make sure we get this fight done. Put it in the press, and we can double our money. We can get everyone interested. We can get everyone talking about this. He is a manipulator. And it's not the first time he's manipulated something to suit his ends. And, you know, he is a very smart guy. And it wouldn't surprise me if they're in this together. And he's like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you. You know,
I think that's looking too much on the bright side for me. Yeah, if you go with if you go with Fury is using this as a marketing tool to build the fight up, I can go with that. I can go with that.
Yeah.
But also, you can't be mad at people saying they're mad at what he's saying. He for me, I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, he wants you. No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. There's two sides of the coin, and whichever side you look at it, you're not on the wrong side of looking at either way.
No,
if you want to say he's building the fight up, that's fair enough. But if you're saying, nah, he shouldn't be saying that shit because Dillian Whyte's already gone through that whole shit with the WBC and that, you're in your right because you want the fight to happen, regardless.
Yeah. But Eric, Eric, I
that
think
could even get the public on Whyte's side.
Eric,
go on, John.
You're right in what you're saying. However, I think Fury's a masterful heel. He knows he's never going to be the babyface, is he?
Yeah,
he like he's gonna sell because people in the UK he's never been popular.
People don't like him. Yeah,
no,
he's gonna.
Yeah, so I
don't think he's been popular by the media in the UK. The media hate him in the UK. For whatever reason, he rubs up a lot of the media the wrong way.
You got to think about it. The media in the UK has got a tremendously pro I always get this wrong. LGTB.
Yeah, LGBT.
Whatever it is, they've got a tremendously pro that group of people agenda. Now, I don't know how much the Americans know about what Tyson Fury said about that group of people, but I think the media's had it in for him since then.
They have. But Fury himself, he don't care about the media. He generally doesn't care about
them as a tool. I think he knows how to manipulate them. And I'm not saying he's going to fight Whyte, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that this is just a massive wind-up from Tyson Fury. Because if that fight...
he's got no excuse.
For that fight to do big money in the Middle East, it needs to be the undisputed fight because that's what the Middle East are interested in hosting. And I think Fury's smart enough to know that. I think we'd be underestimating his intelligence to think otherwise.
I still don't like what he said though. Fuck him.
No, I don't like what he said. I don't like what he said. I'm not taking him seriously.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
Fury and Joshua are both after the money, and they know if they have the belts, they know that money will come.
I think Fury and Joshua are both after legacy, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't think those two. I don't think those two. The money right now. I really don't think those two. Those two are possibly.
But if you have the belts, that's your legacy.
That's it. They're after legacy fights. Those two was always. I've not seen Joshua or Fury move in a way that it's only money. I've not, because Fury got offered more money by Eddie Hearn to fight certain fighters. He went with Franco and took less money, and look where it got him. It got him to another world title belt at the end of the day.
What did he do, Eric? What did Fury do?
He took less money.
He did what? No. I'm being serious. He did what now? One more time for me.
Yeah, he took less money.
In order to do what? Become a champion.
Yep.
Yeah, but Whyte couldn't fucking do that. But Dillian Whyte couldn't do that.
D, let me finish my thought. Go ahead. No, what I'm saying is, I don't see Fury or Joshua moving in a way that tells me they're only in it for money. They move in a way that they're in it for legacy and to be called the best in their era. in boxing.
Bro, are you crazy? Otto Wally getting top spots for $120 million?
No, but what I'm saying, yeah, but that's fights they gave him at the end of the day. But he still took less money to go with Frank Warren. He knew he could get that Deontay Wilder fight. You don't think that?
Okay.
That was Smoke.
What Eric's talking about. What Eric's talking about is when Tyson got cleared by you.
No, listen. Let me finish. Go on, John.
Right. Wilder does get money to Hardy for the Wilder first fight.
When Tyson got cleared by UCAD to fight after the failed Nandrolone case, Eddie Hearn made him an offer to try and sign him, and Fury turned that offer down. I think that's what Eric's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought we were talking about like the glory hound that is Tyson Fury. All of a sudden, like he's not materialistic. Like, okay.
No.
Tyson
Fury,
Fury,
what I'm saying is,
but
no, go ahead.
But the Fury family is very, very rich from not very fair means in Manchester. Like, they may come of a gypsy heritage, but they've never lived in a caravan. You know, Peter Fury is a tremendously wealthy individual.
Yeah, I'm just saying these two fighters are for legacy. They go for legacy. They are fighting for the legacy, in my opinion. Anyway, in my opinion, Tyson Fury is fighting for his legacy.
I will say,
and so is Joshua.
If Fury gets to fight with Anthony Joshua, there'll be no heavyweight that have fought to the heavyweights that he has. Because he would have fought Joshua, Wilder, and Klitschko.
If he beats AJ, he's got the best resume by far.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That what Tyson Fury is actually, what he's actually preaching is bigger than the belts. It actually is. But
Smoke, you can't take it on face value.
No, I'm not taking it on face value. Listen, for me, here's really what it is. Guys used to fight each other. That's how you knew that they were the best by the time they became champion. These guys with all of these belts and all these sanctioning bodies, they don't have to face each other. In any sanctioning body, the top 10 guys, top 15 guys aren't fighting each other. So we don't know. All you have is title holders. You don't actually know who's the best.
I agree with you.
So the idea that you're fighting the best regardless of the belt is the actual thing that lets you know who the best actually is. Not just looking at who the WBO tells you it is. Like if you look at the IBF of the WBO rankings, these guys fucking suck ass. They're not that good fighters. And not only are they not that good, they're not even fighting each other.
Yeah, but once we've got undisputed, once we have undisputed, there'll be one champion, so the contenders will have to fight that champion. Now, if they all get stripped, if the guy gets stripped, he'll still be seen as the champion. It won't make any difference.
Right. Yeah, the difference is the mentality that Tyson Fury is showing right now. He's saying that I don't care about the belts. I did what I needed to do to get the belts. I already got that. I did all that stuff, and now what it is about is actually fighting the best, not just fulfilling who the sanctioning bodies and say who's the best.
I understood your point about 5 sentences ago. You're just saying the same thing about how terrible the alphabet belt system is, and I think everybody agrees with you. Go on,
can I just say this? Go on, D.
Go ahead.
All right. Can I just say, in order to fight, I know you're saying he's fighting the best, but if he doesn't fight Dillian Whyte, who else will he fight? Because he won't fight AJ straight away, because AJ still has his mandatories to contend with. This is my point. Who is he going to fight? He's going to fight Wilder. He's going to fight Wilder next, and AJ has Pulev next. Then AJ is going to have to fight Usyk or Chisora because that mandatory will get called. So who is Fury going to fight other than Dillian Whyte? That's my point.
Yeah, that's fine, but that's a separate point. But right now, it's just AJ versus Whyte, right? And so the idea that it's AJ versus Whyte, that's fine. But if he can't get AJ and he pulls up the 4th best fighter from Turkey again, then you have a point about it. You can't get Sefer Safiri instead of Dillian Whyte, but you can definitely get AJ instead of Whyte.
Yeah, I know, but you can't get AJ next because AJ has mandatories as well.
If you
you're saying.
Smoke, this is the point. If he gets AJ after the Wilder fight, someone's going to get stripped, and then we don't get undisputed. There's still some other belt holder to say that they're potentially the best fighter. whether anybody believes them or not, to end this quagmire, to end this mess, we need the undisputed fight. And we've been waiting for it for a long time now.
You know,
Bro,
20 years.
listen. For me, you know that I've been watching boxing since before the Klitschko's, right? So I've been waiting for Undisputed for a long time. So long, in fact, that for me, what is more important than that is that you actually fight the best, right? Because for me, like Vladimir Klitschko, while we was the belt holders, he wasn't the guy fighting the best. It was on the other side where the best fights were happening.
Where there's a guy who could say he's the best who's his brother. This is a totally different situation. So that era is now finished. And what we really need to do is start a new era truly with an undisputed fight. So we can have a true new lineage. We've got all the belts in one place. Even the ring belt would be on the line if everybody fights their Mandos. So,
and then the Sanctioning body will have completed the coup.
I think everybody fighting the mandatories, just getting them out of the way, then having the massive fight next year is the best course of action.
And then we were. Go ahead.
Hold on, right quick, Smoke. Mr. Two Hands said they said Tyson Fury got the best resume. If he beat Joshua, hold on, guys.
Nope.
Hold on. Chill. If he beats Joshua, Mr. Two Hands. So
only if he beats Joshua. Currently, I don't think he has.
Hold on for a second, John. I think you must have not heard that part, Mr. Two Hands, because we were saying that if he beats Joshua. So we weren't just saying he has the best resume. But if you're going to sit here and argue and say that if he goes and beats Joshua, he doesn't have the best resume when he beat Joshua, Wilder, and Klitschko, then you'll have some people argue with you on that. But that's what we were saying, not just saying he has the best resume. So.
Yeah, the idea that and for me, this is really a battle for the hearts and minds of boxing fans. Like, do we let the sanctioning bodies tell us who is important, or do we know who's important because we've been watching fights? That's really all it boils down to.
Bro, Smoke, the best way around it is to have the undisputed fight, because then everybody knows. There's
that doesn't put it
on. Smoke. Come on, bro. They're not complaining, but they're saying in the chat, Smoke, that they can't hear everybody. So let's try to not cut each other off, fam. Go ahead, John.
Okay. So I understand where Smoke's coming from because he doesn't like sanctioning bodies. And I agree with him. And the WBC have done Dillian Whyte dirty. But it's Mauricio Sullivan that's done it. You know, you can blame the fighters and everybody else, but they've been enabled to do what they do by Mauricio Sullivan. He's responsible for the WBC, so the blame lies at his door, right?
No expression.
It's Fury's fault.
That's my point. That's my point. That's my point.
I know you don't mean that. I know you don't.
No, I don't mean that. I was being sarcastic. But
I know you.
Right. See, here's the thing. Are you sorry? Are you done, John?
I've just got one point left to make. If we can get the mandatories out of the way and then actually have a real undisputed fight with all the belts on the line, the winner nullifies the sanctioning bodies, because they could strip that person of all the belts and everyone's still going to know that's the top guy.
Bro, you're making the best have to take back seat to the sanctioning bodies by making the undisputed first. Forget undisputed and forget all of the sanctioning bodies and their politics. We know who the best are. We know who the top 5 guys are because we've been watching the fights, regardless of what the sanctioning bodies have to tell us about it. Right? We know we want to see fight, and we know why we want to see them fight. To add to that situation, the context of who has belts is a separate argument, right? It's a separate scenario. So why pay that? Why pay that?
John,
hold on a second, John. I'm almost done. Let's land this plane. Why value the belts over fighting the best?
Right. Okay. So this is the road there. This is the road. AJ will have to beat Pulev and Usyk, and Tyson would have to beat Dillian Whyte. Those are top contenders. They're taken off the chessboard. If you do that before the undisputed, nobody gets their belt stripped. Everybody's been fought, and really, the time scale is AJ's fighting Pulev as soon as possible this year. And then I think they're going to do Usyk early next year. Still, there's plenty of time for the undisputed next year.
Can I just what happens if one of those lose? AJ or Fury loses?
Well,
Well,
if
then they
they're the
weren't the
best,
best.
then they won't.
They weren't the best.
Then
Then
they weren't the
were
best. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
one at a
but then
time,
again,
guys. They can't hear
yeah,
out
but
there.
then again, sorry. I just want to get my point across.
Go on.
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay. What happens if one of those two guys loses? Are we going to have more rematches?
Well, if there's
You
a
know,
rematch
if
clause,
AJ
if there's a
There's
rematch
no
clause,
rematches on the mandatory, and there's no rematch left on the Tyson. Is there a rematch in Wilder Fury? Is there actually a rematch left? I thought that was done.
Yeah, well, there's meant to be one rematch, but apparently Wilder's injured. So,
can I ask Smoke a question? Smoke, what's your top five?
My top five. The top three is everybody's top three, and then I got Ruiz and Ortiz, but I can understand Whyte being there too.
Okay, so all right, fair enough.
Smoke. This comment say Smoke was cool with Wilder fighting Molina in Washington and wasn't saying fuck the belts. Then we need the best fights.
What? Okay. Whatever, dude. Hey, was that cool?
He said Smoke was cool with Wilder fighting Molina in Washington, wasn't saying fuck the belts. We need the best fights.
It's all. Listen, boxing has always been about the best fights. I would like an undisputed, because really the only undisputed I was pushing for was AJ and Wilder, because those guys were the best at the time, and not only would have been undisputed, but it would have settled those claims. What Fury has had a resurgence and thrown his hat in the ring, and also now it's a three-way thing. So undisputed for me should be about the best fighting the best. But if the best are fighting the best and it's not undisputed, I'm fine with that too.
I get that point.
Well, no, I don't get that point, because if you wanted undisputed with Wilder and AJ because those two were considered the best, and that would close the question, that would give you an answer. Then why wouldn't you want the exact same for Fury Wilder? Why would you just want it to be? It wouldn't matter if it's for undisputed or not. It needs to be for. You need to keep the same energy. You need to keep the same energy. Because it needs to be for undisputed.
The issue is Wilder wasn't saying I'm going to drop the belt and fight AJ anyway. And then you would have heard me say, yeah, he's still fighting the best. However, they were talking about it being for undisputed. What Fury is saying is, undisputed or not undisputed, I'm just going to fight AJ. That's not the reason why I'm not keeping the same energy, because it's not the same circumstance.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have the belt, AJ won't give him a fight.
Yeah, I've been saying this.
Okay, but that's on AJ.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with Fury. That has nothing to do with Fury. If AJ is saying, I don't care about fighting the best, what I actually care about is collecting trinkets, then that's on AJ and AJ's self-interest. That don't have shit to do with what Fury is saying and Fury's self-interest. Fury's like, if the belts are cool, I've had them all. That's very nice. But if push comes to shove, I'm just going for fighting the best fights. Not really what Cowtown is thinking about.
Earlier. That's exactly what I just said earlier. When I was like, okay, AJ wants those belts. What the fuck did that have to do with Fury? Like, again, I don't dismiss or excuse Fury for any of the bullshit he doing. But what I'm saying is, just like John said, we got to lay a lot of heavy blame on Mauricio Sulaiman. Whyte has to take some blame himself. What I'm not going to accept is all of these fucking yahoos coming out here and talking about Fury this, Fury doing this, Fury fucking everything up, Fury. That's what I'm not going for.
But people are so emotional, D. The reason why everyone's getting emotional is because everyone just wants the undisputed fight like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, everyone's sick to death of it. I am, to be honest, but that's why I want the mandatories out of the way. Because what it also does is those guys are all top guys. And if one of those mandatories beats the belt holder, then I'm fine with them doing the undisputed. If Pulev knocks out AJ, there's no rematch clause. Then he's got to fight Usyk, and then he fights Fury.
At the end of the day, they're mandatories for a reason, right? So if they do beat the champion, then they deserve to move on and fight for undisputed. They beat the champion. They beat the guy who everybody is now claiming is number one. They've beat them. So then they deserve to move on to undisputed. At the end of the day, we want, like Smoke says, we want the best to fight the best. Fighting your mandatory challengers proves you are the best, because you're fighting these guys, you're knocking them off, making sure that, I'm better than you. I know you're gone. Someone says you were close to me, you're gone by. The next guy is then the other champion. Then you fight for the undisputed fight. If you avoid your mandatories and just say, "Oh, well, we class Fury as the best," well, Dillian Whyte's a mandatory. So what's saying that he can't beat?
Regardless of when you fight him.
What's saying that? Yeah, what's saying that Dillian Whyte can't go in and beat Tyson Fury because he's the number one challenger and he's mandatory. So if he goes in and beats Tyson Fury now when they fight, what is everybody going to say now? Is everybody going to say, well, this fight shouldn't have happened. We knew Tyson Fury was the best fighter out of them, so he should have fought for undisputed. No, we didn't know that because now he's gone and lost to the number one contender.
Exactly, Eric. What happens if Dillian went in there and sparked Tyson Fury clean out with a left hook?
So then we wouldn't have been seeing the best fight the best if Fury had fought AJ because we don't know that yet. We don't know if he'll beat Dillian Whyte. We don't know if Joshua will beat Usyk. These mandatories has to be fought as well. I want the undisputed
There's
fights,
always mandatory. There's always mandatories. The mandatories will be there after the fight or before the fight. Like what you're saying is we should never find out who the best is until all the mandatories are cleared out. When the mandatories haven't shown that they're the best. What has Usyk done at heavyweight to say that AJ should fight him versus like these mandatories are mandatories. They're fine, but the mandatories would exist after the guys who've already been through that process and actually sit on top of the heap, acting like they didn't do anything, and now these next mandatories need to be addressed. No, there's an order to this. These guys already fought. Like, okay, Tyson Fury has not fought mandatories because he doesn't defend titles, right? This will be his first title defense, right? But AJ actually he's actually gone through the mandatory process. He's actually obligated to fight mandatories now. But the mandatories that he's fighting, nobody thinks that these represent the best of the division. Maybe Dillian Whyte does, but not Usyk or Pulev. They're just mandatories.
Yeah, but Pulev is already signed. We're waiting. We're literally waiting on the Usyk one.
And Tyson's fighting for Wilder anyway. So
yeah,
that just needs getting out of the way. And
I believe the easiest way for this to happen is, like John says, get the mandatories out of the way because whilst AJ's fighting Usyk, which we know that will get called, that will 100% get called, whether Usyk deserves it or not, it will 100% get called. Who is Tyson Fury going to fight? It's either he fights his mandatory or he drops the belt, not fight anybody, or fights a lower opposition. So you might as well fight your mandatory, get it over the way. Then Dillian Whyte, literally, he goes away. No one has to mention his name again. Smoke, you can get rid of him. That's him done. No, you never have to hear Dillian Whyte again.
Dillian Whyte's still going to carry on. Dillian Whyte is still going to carry on.
Yeah, but
the issue. It's not just that Pulev is going to get called. Wilder's going to get called. They both have fights. It's not just AJ has fights, so fight Dillian Whyte. Tyson Fury has a fight too. It's about after their next two fights. It's literally about these two guys are going to fight one guy in between and then meet up to fight each other. And whether or not Tyson Fury has a belt is determinative on what happens with the sanctioning body's politics. That's the only conversation we're talking about. Now, we can talk about Wilder being injured. We can talk about AJ being injured, or we can say all these scenarios in which that doesn't happen. And then, of course, yes, Whyte becomes an option and may become the best option, right? But at this point in the game, both guys have one fight. One's a mandatory, one's an ex-champion. They get those guys out of the way, and then they meet. And then they can talk about whoever else has a claim to being the best.
Hey,
clearing up the position.
Smoke. You got two comments. Real quick, Eric. You got two comments from you, Smoke. First comment says, Smoke wasn't saying fuck the sanctioning bodies when it came to Whyte's Mando. He referenced them to say Whyte didn't deserve his shot. Flip-flopping. And then Ayov's comment to you is, get this Suleiman Jr.
I'm gonna have to go back. I actually missed it. I missed Unbiased, so I'm gonna have to go back and check his out. I'm sure that it's full of holes.
Smoke. The point is, if Usyk's going to get called, and we believe it is, right, then it isn't going to be the scenario you just laid out. It's going to be AJ's tied up for 2 fights. No.
And so is the WBC champion, because no matter who wins out of Fury Wilder, no matter who wins, they have to fight Dillian Whyte or drop the belt. They will not fight AJ anyway because he will be fighting Usyk. So whoever is the WBC champion, they will have to fight Dillian Whyte, apart from dropping the belt.
Okay, all right. All you clairvoyant guys.
Real quick, I want Pat to check this comment out by Willie Williams. I actually like this comment. Willie said, Fury don't want to lose his position of fighting AJ by losing to Whyte. He will give up that title without taking an L. He'll still be undefeated. That way he keeps it up. They never fought. It opens the door to get a fight later. That's actually true. Because if he never lose a fight, he will still be the only undefeated heavyweight. People will still be claiming, well, Fury never got beat, so maybe he's the best. So it does kind of open. That's a good comment by Willie Williams. It does kind of open the door up later. That's another perspective or avenue that I didn't even think of. But it does also validate what I was saying earlier. Fury wants to fight the best guy, which is Joshua. Outside of Fury, I don't think there's no arguments because everybody that's bashing fucking Fury right now thinks Joshua's the number one guy. So he would still be fighting. And like Smoke said, his agenda, the number one guy. Good comment, Willie Williams.
Yeah. I mean, it would just delay AJ fighting Fury because I think they'd make the Dillian Whyte fight beforehand.
Yeah, I said that earlier. I said that earlier. They'll make the undisputed. They'll make the undisputed fight first, and then they'll go and fight Fury.
Because get it straight, if AJ has gone on record numerous times saying he'll still fight Wilder, he thinks he should fight everybody, and I believe him. I mean, people may question that, but I think he's genuine. Because if he was all just about the money, he'd be retired after he got beat by Ruiz.
Hey, here go another good comment. Mr. Two Hands said, if Suleiman's neck is on the line, they fight in February 21st. I actually agree with that 100%. If Suleiman's neck, let's analyze this because he's right. I agree with this. Well, I don't know if he's right or wrong, but I do agree with this statement. So if Suleiman's neck is on the line and they're definitely going to fight because his neck's on the line, then who the fuck is the majority cause of this? Is it Fury or is it fucking Suleiman?
No, it's Suleiman. I agree with you. I'm not blaming Fury for this. I'm
going to keep pointing this out because this is my only point. Motherfuckers ain't gonna lay everything on my dude. I'm going to keep coming back to that. Ain't nobody gonna lay everything on my dude Fury. So
I already told you. My point is I didn't like what Fury said, but the reason why Dillian Whyte has been fucked about has nothing to do with Fury. That has to do with the WBC. Right. And the reason why Fury is in the situation he is right now is because of the WBC and their bullshit rulings. Because they put him in that situation. They're the ones that made him mandatory in front.
To take it a step further, Eric, he's in that situation because he beat Wilder. If anybody else would have beat Wilder, they'd be in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. And they put him in that situation by mandating the rematch. They mandated the rematch.
There's still the element.
So WBC put him in that situation.
That Dillian didn't take the fight with AJ. I mean,
I agree with that. He ducked AJ. Yeah. He ducked AJ, and I agree with that.
It's a low ball offer, and Dillian was being smart by getting a belt so that when he went to the table, he'd be in a much better bargaining position. However, if you pay those politics and it go badly, you played the game. You win or lose, don't you? You should live by the sword, die by the sword for me.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But what I'm saying in this situation is the reason why Fury is in this situation where he has to fight, where people are calling for him to fight Whyte, is because the WBC mandated a rematch.
Eric, do you think he'll drop the belt? Because I mean,
no, I don't think Fury will drop the belt. I think Fury, in all honesty, who believes Fury will lose to Dillian Whyte?
I don't.
On this panel, on this panel, who believes Fury will lose? I
can see a case of how Dillian does do him. But
do you think he wins?
I don't know. I think it's closer than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah,
I want to see Dillian out again before I make any real predictions.
Do you think Tyson Fury is scared of fighting Dillian Whyte?
No.
I don't think Tyson's scared to fight anyone.
I think Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian Whyte is scared to rematch Joseph Parker.
Let me answer that question from Eric. I don't think that Tyson Fury is scared to fight Whyte. I think Tyson Fury is scared to risk that belt against.
He's scared to lose it.
Yeah, he's scared to lose that belt, because if he loses that belt, it's just like Whyte. Really, he wants the belt for the gravy train. Fury don't want to lose the belt for the gravy train. You understand what I'm saying? Because it gives him all of this leverage. So he understands that. I'm pretty sure he understands that Whyte has a chance to beat him. So why risk that when I can listen? If he risks giving up that belt for, and I get it, if he goes franchise or dump the belt, then it's all null and void anyway. But if he gets to fight AJ and he risks anything in between that, look what he's risking, bro. He's risking that fight with AJ. And again, he's ducking and all of that. I don't agree with it, but I'm saying from Fury's perspective, he's risking the fight with AJ. And I ain't risking no fight with AJ to fight no fucking Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, but I get where you're coming from with that. But also, if you look on the other side of the coin, Dillian Whyte is still risking this mandate. We're talking about this fight in February, this mandate position. He still has to beat Povetkin. He's still risking his shot at that title by fighting a top contender. He's still risking himself.
Toby said, I was reading the comments, my bad. Toby Barner said, I would love to have D as a mate growing up. Because if you're his guy, he'll defend you all along.
So D, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
If Dillian Whyte is happy, is willing to risk it, this mandatory position, because this Dillian Whyte talk, getting the belt could go away quite simply, and he could just lose to Povetkin. He's still risking that. He could be taking softer touches or sitting on the sideline waiting for that shot, and he hasn't. He's still taking difficult fights, willing to prove himself that he deserves that shot. Still, he's still trying to prove that he deserves that shot.
Right,
bro. He's taking.
Guess what?
He's taking.
Guess what Fury does? Guess what Fury has done? He's the one who takes the big fights and then take light touch. No, I'm being serious. This is what Fury does, right?
Yeah, I know.
So why the fuck everybody expecting them to do something different?
Hey, D, you can't. Sometimes you've got to hope. I'm just saying, what
the fuck everybody expecting them to do something different?
He's got
the whole fucking time.
D. This has been consistent.
D, do you not want your champions to take their responsibilities seriously?
Again, I agree with you guys. Again, John,
okay.
What has he been doing his whole fucking career, fam? The principle of defending as a champion, I'm with y'all. Okay. That ain't what I'm saying. What the fuck has Fury been doing his whole career?
No, that's what he does. This is why I can't listen to what he says. You just have to watch what he does. Because in the build-up to the Klitschko fight, all Fury said was, I'm going to knock Klitschko out, I'm going to knock Klitschko out, I'm going to knock Klitschko out. Build up to Wilder 1. That's what he said. Going to knock Wilder out, going to knock Wilder out, going to knock Wilder out. Yet in the second Wilder fight, he actually did. So you can never actually predict what Tyson Fury is going to do based on what he says.
Yo, she's busy, right?
I agree with that. The other thing, just a quick thing about Whyte. Yeah, definitely. I mean, who can argue with that? Yeah. But Dillian Whyte is taking the easiest touches he can to headline UK pay-per-views. He is not challenging Alexander Povetkin, or we shouldn't be mentioning Dillian Whyte amongst the best. If Alexander Povetkin is his challenging fight, the guy who got dropped by David Price, Michael Hunter,
Smoke,
then what are we talking about?
Smoke, who else is he supposed to be fighting?
Yeah, but the other thing is, just because David Price has got no chin doesn't mean say he can't punch. He can actually punch. He just can't take one.
Yeah,
that's real.
Hold up, Pulev pulled out.
Who said that?
Mr. Two Hands said Pulev.
I think he's on about the Takam mandatory.
Oh, I was about to say he's a fucking idiot.
No. Pulev's already pulled out one.
I hope he's talking about. Well, actually, no, I don't hope he's talking about that because that's one fight that's less to fight.
Yeah, well, I could do that.
You'd be an idiot if you pull out of that fight. Even if you lose, look at the money you're getting up. I'll go. If he pulls out of the fight, somebody tell his Kevin to call me. I'll tell him.
Yeah, but see, this is
you need to grow another. You need to grow another 7, 8.
I'll be able to look at my fucking niggas. Knock the fuck out by AJ.
Damn.
I'll tell you right.
He said you need to. He said you need to. He said you need to grow 8 feet to be. He said you need to grow 8 feet to be 6 feet. That's fucked up.
I'm going Cam Langford in there, bro. I'm going Cam Langford in there. 5'6", looking up at AJ, swinging at the air. I don't give a damn.
5'6". Wow, you plan to grow 2 inches.
Mr. Two Hands, are you talking about now?
Huh?
Has Pulev pulled out now, or are you talking about the Takam fight?
We don't know. We're not sure. I
is,
think we're talking about the Takam fight.
If he is talking about the Takam fight, if he is talking about the Takam fight, that mandatory was fulfilled. Then Pulev fought Huey Fury in Bulgaria to regain the mandatory spot.
Yeah, he did.
So he has actually regained his position. He hasn't just sort of waited to fight him. The mandatory got fulfilled, and in the meantime, Pulev beat Huey Fury to regain his mandatory position.
Oh no, I just wanted that clear.
Talk about Takam.
Yeah, he did.
I just wanted that clear. Yeah.
I'm back. I don't know how much they pay Smoke, but you ain't heard me defend the WBC up here at all. I ain't defended nobody but Fury the whole fucking time. I have not defended Suleiman. I ain't defending nobody but Fury. So
Bias, you heard him right.
Goddamn nickel, dude.
Bias, you heard him right. Fury's paying him.
Yeah, and just for all you guys, just for all you guys who are saying Suleiman Jr. and all this stuff, what I'm telling you is the sanctioning bodies are playing you for fools, and you're letting them by going, hey, you know what? No, forget it's mandatories that matter. All mandatories is a construct of a sanctioning body. That's all it is. Well, it doesn't say anything about the quality of fighter.
You can't be going against your dad like that.
Yeah, but when you're going up, hey, Smoke.
Hey, y'all fuck it out, dog.
Smoke. Can I say something? Can I say something? Smoke. When you're going up, what's the thing you want to be as a boxer? You want to be a world champion.
A champion. A world champion. Yeah, but you know what? Now there's 4 sanctioning bodies. So now it's changing every generation because there's now more champions. So now maybe what people want to grow up to do is just be rich. Because that's what Dillian Whyte did. So maybe people just want to grow up to be Dillian Whyte.
Now you see that's the PBC model right there.
Yes, but the problem is Dillian Whyte is not on the PBC.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's you saying people want to grow up to be rich. I can see why you love the PBC so much. Or you can stop trying to deflect the PBC and just stick it on Whyte because he is the one who has not fought a championship fight. PBC has champions.
When you're 10 years old, you want to be a champion. You want to be a champion. I wanted to be a champion. When I was 9, 10 years old in a boxing gym, I wanted to be a world champion.
Hey, that's fine. I'm not saying that. I don't know how old you are. But when I was 9 to 10 years old,
I'm 37 years old. I've been around boxing 30 years. When I was 7 years old, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, I started boxing 7. I wanted to be a world champion.
Yes, in that time, there's been a 100% increase on sanctioning bodies. And I don't even know how many more belts there have been since those increases of sanctioning bodies. We can go through the thing. So the idea that you want to be a champion is becoming increasingly easier, right? But the question is, what kind of champion are you? And that's getting increasingly more muddled. So at a certain point, you're going to have to understand that if you want legacy, you got to fight the best. And this is really about feeding your family. Or maybe you're just a girl behind the leg gets punched in the face.
Well, I don't mind getting punched in the face.
Hey, Smoke, I want to see one thing, dog. I'm over here laughing because me and you catch a whole lot of heat in that damn chat. It ain't just you, Smoke. They throwing some heat my way too, dog. But
yeah, I know. These sanctioning bodies got these guys in the grip. Like BoxRec and sanctioning bodies have completely destroyed the minds of boxing fans.
Hey, I don't use BoxRec.
No, I don't use BoxRec either. So.
No, BoxRec is great. Listen, BoxRec is great for a resource. If you want to find out who Katsu fought, or the millions of people that Julio Cesar Chavez fought, it's great.
You want to find out the names of who
and
Wilder
it has a
fought?
lot of information. However, it does not trump. It doesn't tell you who the best is.
I don't use BoxRec for anything but seeing
Who
like
Wilder fought?
history, who fought who. That's it. I don't use it to determine anything or judge anything. I just use it just for the history of who fought who and when. That's the only thing.
That's the only reason I got.
Yeah.
I don't need to rank anyone.
Yeah, no, not to rank.
Yeah, their ranking system.
Like not to rank, not to see who's going to win a fight. None of that shit. I don't use that shit.
Yeah, just to see who they fought previously. That's it. That's the only reason.
Who they fought and where the bout was.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Smoke. It's a double whammy, Smoke. it's a double whammy. He got both of us in one great. He said DJ Barnes, Smoker's WBCI job.
Yeah, I got it. People want what they want. It's hard, but it'll make sense to them over time. Once you start seeing these fake ass champions and fake ass mandatories, you'll stop talking about champions and mandatories because Ocampo, who gives a damn? Kulev, who gives a damn? Like,
your life right now.
Yeah, Takam was it? Yeah, I mean, I know it because he's saying that Brazil. Like, listen, I'm not even gonna go down these rabbit holes.
No.
I want you to respond to that. Umpire says sanctioning bodies mattered when Wilder had 10 title defenses to Smoke. He was saying Wilder is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay. Again. All right. So if you want to talk about the actual utility of a sanctioning body, that's one thing. But what you're talking about then is what you're talking about is legacy, which is determined by sanctioning bodies. But what isn't determined by any of that stuff is these unifications that everybody is talking about. Because Leon Spinks, what you'll find is he's an undisputed champ and ain't there. You'll find Jermaine Taylor or Kelly Platt. Like there's any number of undisputed guys that you won't find in the Hall of Fame. So it's really about becoming a champion and title defenses. Sure, that gets you into the Hall, but actually unifying these titles, that's just that's a marketing tool. That's really all it is.
So Smoke, hold on. I've got an important question for Smoke here. So you said it's about title defenses, but you're just talking about quantity over quality, because without somebody to supervise the quality of the people that you fight, we could end up fighting people like Spilker, and you could fight 10 Spilkers and have 10 title defenses. So there needs to be some sort of check and balance in place.
Definitely. No, I agree with that. It's actually abdicating your responsibility to finding out who the best is and just giving it to a sanctioning body that I'm talking about. Not whether or not sanctioning bodies have any sort of place. They do have a place, but people are using it too much. The same way that people are using resume to determine pound for pound. That's one way to do it, sure, but that is not the only determinant factor when coming up with a pound for pound is their resume. That's that's how you determine legacy and who they fought. That's it.
Hey, Samuel said box records DJ prediction league pick. Don't believe in that film study, right? It can be spewing. So, Samuel, I guess me using BoxRec made you leave the prediction league and start dumping me there, huh? Because you ain't been back since I done whooped your ass.
Can I ask you the question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Is Deontay Wilder an all-out Hall of Famer with 10 title defenses?
Yes.
No.
I'll answer that. He's going to the Hall of Fame. And I don't care what I say about his level of competition and all this. Here's the brass tacks of it. There are plenty of guys who have done less than Wilder in the Hall of Fame. That motherfucker's going in the Hall of Fame. Whether people like it or think he deserves it or not, he's going in the Hall of Fame. And
you found someone who did less?
What?
Oh, wow. You found someone who did less?
Yeah.
I'm playing.
There's a lot of motherfuckers that did less.
I can see D getting bad straight away. I'm playing.
Should those people be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. So I think most people believe that Wilder will go in the Hall of Fame. So really, the question is, should they?
No, but it's like that in every sport. Though. It's
No,
like
no,
that.
no. I'm okay because I think you're right. I agree with what you're saying. I just wanted you to clarify that point.
No, I don't think they should be, but shit, I do basketball. There's people in the fucking basketball Hall of Fame that don't belong there. I used to do football.
The Hall of Fame do it.
On there.
The reason they do it is to publicize themselves.
Yeah.
So they've got their standards so that, you know, that there's people to go in every year. Because if they maintain their standard, then there'll be years where we didn't hear anything from the Hall of Fame. So
also boxing doesn't have an overarching organizing body, right? It just has a bunch of private entities that you fight for their actual championship, right? All of these, the WBC, the WBO, all of these are privately owned companies, right? They don't have any kind of, they don't have any sort of beholding to the public outside of the contracts they sign with the state government, states and local governments. That's what's up. So the idea of the Hall of Fame is to honor the history and the traditions of the guys who've stepped between the ropes. That's all it is. And each guy can get there his own way. But after a while, you know, now that we've had so many years and so many guys, there's a standard that's now been set, and there's precedence. That's all it is.
Well, there's a low standard. I think you need to highlight that point, Smoke. The standard is
no, but
low.
It's not a low standard. That's just a standard that you think it's low, but I don't. I can appreciate all those guys. I can appreciate Gotti. I can appreciate Arturo Gotti being in there, even though everybody says, you know, what's up with Arturo Gotti. And by the way, anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm gonna let that.
All right, we got another one. We gotta get more than right. They said D has a tattoo of Fury over his heart. Actually, Lewis, I'm actually a bigger Teofimo Lopez fan.
I was just about to say, right next to that Teo, right next to that Teo.
Yeah, I'm actually a bigger Teofimo Lopez fan than Tyson. Yeah, I got a tattoo of Leo. I'm a lion. Leo the lion over my heart, fucker.
I was just about to say, right next to that Teo one.
Yeah, it is. It's T.O. I'm a bigger fan of T.O. than Fury. But Fury's my guy. Don't get it twisted. Ain't nobody going to be dropping all that shit on him either. All right, Colin in the building. What's good with you? Nah, dog, I think this was really, I think this is also another good discussion. Got a lot of different perspectives out there. These type of things open light to a lot of situations, like looking at everything. Situations Mr. Two-Hand bought, because here's the reality of it. Whether we were coming from one angle or the other, you know, blame Dillian Whyte, blame Suleiman, blame Fury. Everybody had valid points. I don't you know what I mean? Everyone had valid points. Like, I'm not saying a lot of the points that you guys brought up concerning Fury, you know, ducking Whyte or ditching the belts, and those are valid points. You see what I mean? I don't give a fuck what nobody believe about what I said. I had valid points, whether you like them or not. God damn it, they was valid points. So I just think that people have valid points. Just with these discussions these are necessary, because you could be in tunnel vision if you don't get all the perspectives. You can only really see things one way. But when you get to sit down and talk and come from all different angles, you get to at least analyze things at a more broad perspective. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Fury ducked Whyte. Let's get that out of the way. He ducked Whyte, and he's currently ducking Whyte. There's no secret about that. At the end of the day, Whyte has done shit to screw himself. So all you Whyte protectors accept it. He has done things to screw himself. And at the end of the day, the majority, the main problem is not Whyte or Fury. It's fucking Suleiman. So for all of you idiots out there making these videos, slamming only Fury, you're idiots. That's what
I wonder did these people Wilder before him?
Can you imagine? Hold on, go ahead. What you say, Brian?
I wonder, are these people who are now slamming Fury were slamming Wilder before him? These same people.
No. Half of them, I'm gonna tell you this right now, Brian. Half of them were fucking Wilder fans. because these dinglings done jumped over here on the Fury side because they hate Joshua so much. And a lot of this dumb shit you hear about Fury, that's those idiots. And you know how I know it's those idiots? Because they were saying the same idiotic shit about Wilder. Now they done came over to my guy's side because he got beat to oblivion and they want to hate on AJ. So now they saying this dumb shit about Fury. It ain't fans like me. It's those idiots. That's who it is.
I'm not saying you, D. I'm talking about those other channels in general.
Yeah, it's Wilder. It's a lot of Wilder fans and AJ haters are newfound Fury fans. That's who it is, bro. It was
Okay.
I've been a Fury fan for 10 years.
I just have a thing, but just finally for the WBC, and I feel like I need to take a shower after talking about the WBC in such positive light. But I'm gonna just say one thing. Like, the WBC was trying to get their arms around a problem that is in boxing, and that is drug abuse, the performance-enhancing drugs. They found themselves in a position where guys were popping dirty and also not fulfilling their obligations. Guys who want all the glory and none of the responsibility. You can throw Wilder in there if you want. You can throw Whyte, definitely is in there in both categories, in guys who popped and guys who wanted the glory and not the responsibility. So when it really comes down to this whole, like, let's shovel a bunch of coal on the WBC because there was a confusing situation that was actually started from fighters popping dirty, I feel like fans are giving these guys, it's selective. I don't know what it is. I don't know if people just love Whyte like that, or it's just that they want what they want in the moment that they want it. But for me, I'm seeing the WBC trying to wrap their arms around a problem and not getting a whole lot of support in that effort, unless it suits, unless they want to talk shit about a fighter. Then all of a sudden, VADA's great.
There's a massive hole in that argument.
Hold on right quick, John. Let me read this chat right quick. I'm gonna let you go after this. Mr. Two Hands says, I was slamming all the fuckery. Check my record. And then Aop said, we've been slamming Wilder. Where the fuck this dude been? So check this out, guys. And see, it's like when I say I'm not talking about the Speak Your Mind Sports Talk family, that includes you, AOBs, and that includes you, Mr. Two Hands. And I said that. I said that early. I said not us, because we think logically. Do y'all remember me saying that? Not the Speak Your Mind Sports Talk family, not the people on this panel, because we think logically. And I don't know who everybody else is charging at. I know a lot of people's charging at Fury, but I ain't charging at nobody but the idiots out there who's putting everything on Fury. So if you're not an idiot that's putting everything on Fury, then I ain't fucking talking about you.
Okay. I've got to address what Smoke just said, because he's ignoring a heck of a lot about the WBC and how they tackle drugs in boxing. Jimenez, that lady that tested positive for drugs, have you heard what Mauricio Sullivan said about her and how long she had before she got suspended or stripped of her title? It took them a month before they stripped her. And Mauricio has now come out and said, she said she did it on accident, and I believe her. Yet Dillian Whyte passed his 2 VADA tests that he paid for, which is part of the clean boxing program, and 24 hours after something that had been dealt with already, whether you agree with it or not, that's what had happened. The WBC suspend him instantly. Then, once it's all been cleared up and the joint statement has been released, they don't reinstate him. They put Fury in the mandatory position instead. So they are not consistent with tackling this drug problem. It's just totally inconsistent.
Yeah,
so try and
exactly. My issue.
No consistency, no.
Cruz, you talk about the Cruz and Jimenez situation, right, John?
Yeah.
Well, see, with Cruz, with that Cruz and Jimenez situation, bro. Hell yeah, Suleiman, he had her back like that was his wife, bro.
Exactly.
He had her back like that was his wife, bro.
Exactly.
Immediately.
Exactly. That's my point. So when Smoke's trying to claim that the WBC are out here like some shining knights in white armor, protecting the public from boxers taking drugs, it's overlooking several other fighters that get treated differently.
That's not
And the
several
Canelo-
other fighters.
and
No,
the
actually,
Canelo-
what you
Well,
just did is
let's
juxta.
go to
Actually,
Canelo
what you just did.
Hold on.
Go ahead,
hold
John.
on.
Go ahead and finish. I'm just gonna cut Smoke off when he cuts them off. Go ahead,
Right,
John.
it's all right, 'cause I can talk to Smoke about this directly later. The Canelo situation, Canelo was not suspended straight away after 24 hours, and he conceded guilt. So that's even worse. How long was it before they took measures against? They let everything run its course, and they didn't suspend him until Nevada hearing had come out. So that's actually even worse.
Right. So the issue, I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. The fact that the WBC switched to VADA is what I'm talking about, because they were trying to get arms around the rampant PED use in boxing. So they went to VADA for all of their guys. Right? They went to VADA testing.
Well,
that's what happened. That's what I'm trying to say.
So when Dillian Whyte passes 2 VADA tests, either side of the adverse finding, why is it they give precedence to UCAD when their testing body is VADA? Why do they ignore the VADA tests? And the UCAD test is one that counts for Dillian Whyte. Yet, when Canelo tests and when Jimenez tests against Cruz, they've got whole months before they take action. Yet they take action for 24 hours, and then they remove his mandatory status, and they don't reinstate it until after the next mandatory.
You know why, John? In their rules, this is why, John. In their rules. And Mark pointed.
I've read their bylaws.
Yeah,
they can do what they want.
At my discretion. Discretion.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
So they can change and switch up any fucking time.
Mauricio can do whatever he wants. I'm fully aware of that.
Anytime they want.
But what I'm not going to do is let Smoke sit here and try and make out like they're being really consistent about drugs.
No, okay, but I didn't say that. I just said that they switched to VADA, right? And now, if to answer your question about VADA versus UCAD, because VADA doesn't have testing all over the world. So when you have a situation where the British Boxing Board and UCAD, where they already have a robust system, what VADA did.
Let him finish.
What VADA does is they split the duties, and since he was part of UCAD, part of the BBOC, he has a British boxing license. They did 2 tests VADA for that fight. The bulk of the testing was done by UCAD, and the idea that it was all cleared up 24 hours later is just not correct. But anyway, none of that has to do with. I didn't say that he was consistent in his application of enforcement once a test was passed. That's a completely separate issue, a separate conversation. What I was saying was they switched to VADA. When they switched to VADA, a lot of guys popped, and that messed up both their championship challenger situation and their mandatory challenger situation. And they asked all of their top fighters to actually help them clear this up, including Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte did what he did.
Well, I'll say this: because of Mauricio Sulaiman's inconsistencies, Dillian Whyte has suffered, and because of Mauricio Sulaiman's inconsistency, Wilder has benefited substantially.
Okay, so what also, I'd just like to point out one last thing. Just one last thing.
And it's a fact.
No, okay, but there's one other fact that the WBO actually took Whyte off of their books immediately after he found out that after he popped. What the WBC did was suspend him pending investigation.
Who was that in response to, John or me?
That was just a fact to throw it in, because he was saying how the WBC is the one that screwed Whyte in this whole thing. But really, what it was there was a pending investigation done by UCAD. It wasn't clear 24 hours later. It wasn't done until months after that.
All right. Well,
okay, those were all false.
We're ready to go sideways, Smoke.
I'm gonna have to
been on the same page the whole time, but here's where we get ready to go sideways, because this ain't something I ain't been protecting Sulaiman this whole fucking time, and I ain't gonna start now. The WBC is the majority of the problem of what's going on with this. Most of the problem of what's going on. It is the WBC's fault. It is Sulaiman. This bullshit is Sulaiman.
Right,
I don't care what facts you throw in, or what happened here, or what happened there. Sulaiman is the bane of these issues, Smoke. Regardless of.
No, listen. I agree that. Okay, go ahead.
Because he is. You have to agree to that.
The issue is that it's the WBC who has to adjudicate this, but it's not the WBC who is feeding these guys drugs. It's not the WBC who's making these guys pop.
You there. You
No,
got
the
to stop
WBC
talking
is
now.
not making these guys pop. My point is this: I don't give a shit about none of that. This situation that's going on with this franchise, the 4 belt, is mostly Suleiman. Period. I don't care what other facts come to play. I don't care about talking dirty. I'm not finished talking smoke. I don't care about what other factors come to play. I don't give a fuck about guys popping dirty. At the end of the day, Mauricio Suleiman and the WBC has the majority of the responsibility for all of this foolery going on. Period.
Listen, when it comes to the franchise belt, definitely when it comes to franchise.
Done deal.
There you go. I've got to address some of the points you were making there because they're incorrect. So the reason that it took so long for a statement to be released by UCAD wasn't because the investigation was taking that amount of time. UCAD's hearings are confidential, and Dillian Whyte's lawyers went to court to force UCAD to release the findings of their confidential hearing. It wasn't because there was further investigation into what had gone on. And the second point is the proximity of the UCAD test to the VADA test is why it got cleared up so quickly. Dillian had I'm pretty certain that it was less than 48 hours before and less than 48 hours afterwards of the UCAD test, he'd taken 2 VADA tests that he'd passed. And that's why he was allowed to fight. So saying what you're saying about
listen,
the testing is grossly misrepresenting what happened. On top of that, it was actually dealt with before the fight, or he wouldn't have been allowed to fight.
False.
Is that false?
Bro, you can't do the bulk of the testing.
Dillian Whyte was
still you can't. Everyone has agreed that you can.
Who was that, Brian? Yeah, Smoke, you can go next. Just let somebody else get in, man.
Yeah, go on. If everything else sounds wrong, that's fine. I want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. Or whoever.
Dillian Whyte was still under investigation in October when at the WBC convention, Tyson Fury became the mandatory because Dillian Whyte was still under investigation. Dillian Whyte was declared to fight by UCAD. Eddie Hearn gave a big statement on it saying that he was going to have a UCAD hearing at the end of October. Dillian Whyte was still under investigation in October the 27th.
So why was he allowed to fight?
What's up, man? I didn't even know that was you, dog. What's up? I knew I heard a different voice. What's up, bro?
You're allowed to fight if UCAD pop you, you're no banned for boxing. If VADA pop you, you get banned automatically. Okay. You can fail a UCAD test and be able to box for 2 years until UCAD found you guilty or innocent. If VADA pop you, you get banned instantly, and then they carry out their investigation. Dillian Whyte failed a WADA test that was done by UCAD, which means he's free to box until the end of the investigation. But at the time of the WBC convention, which was in October, Dillian Whyte could not be mandatory because he was under a drug investigation. So Tyson Fury was elevated. Dillian Whyte was not cleared by UCAD until after October.
Right, okay. So if I've got that one wrong, that's fine.
No, that's why Tyson Fury could be elevated within the rules.
However, another question for you, AA. Did he or did he not pass VADA tests either side of the UCAD test?
He did, but he still failed the UCAD test. Because he passed 2 tests doesn't mean...
No. And what's the proximity of those 2 tests?
I think they said one was... I think there was a UCAD test done... I don't know the exact dates. I think it might have been on...
I think they're within 48 hours. One of the VADA tests is 48 hours before the UCAD test, and there's another one within 48 hours afterwards. Because that's one of the other things that Smoke was saying.
Yeah, but you do know UCAD never, when the UCAD released a statement saying Dillian Whyte had been cleared, they said Dillian Whyte had been cleared because he gave another 2 tests that were, they didn't say that Dillian Whyte's test was contaminated or anything. They says that the adverse findings were in that test, but they cleared him because he had 2 clear tests.
But what I was saying was Smoke's made 2 things that are disingenuous. One of them was the fact that was what you're addressing, that I'm wrong, yeah, about him still being under investigation. I'll go back and double check that. I'm pretty certain that I was right, but if I'm wrong,
Eddie gave a big statement.
I can go back and check that. That isn't really a problem, because the other point that he was making was that VADA had hardly done any testing during the build-up to the fight, and the mainstay of Dillian Whyte's case is the proximity of the two VADA tests either side of the problematic UCAD test. And from what I'm hearing from you, you agree with that part, but you disagree with the outcome of the investigation and the length of time it took.
Yeah, it gave 3 tests. Two were clean, one was
I can double check that anyway. I'll fact check that, because if I'm wrong, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, like I said, what I said was VADA advocated the bulk of the testing to UCAD. They did a couple of tests, sure, and the proximity is a great excuse. That doesn't mean that they did more tests just because the 2 tests were close to each other.
Yeah, but the proximity is important, Smoke, because of how long it takes for drugs to clear.
Yeah, but it doesn't make my statement disingenuous.
I kind of heard enough. Like I'm gonna post this link in the chat, and it kind of just erupts everything that you guys just said. And this is coming from UCAD, not me. You know what I mean? They basically said that the timeline that you guys are trying to insinuate, it wouldn't even have affected the fight with Rivas, right? And he gave several tests. You guys could just read it, you know what I'm saying? So you could read it for yourself, and I don't got to explain it, but he gave several tests to UCAD, which came back negative. So here's the link, and you guys can have a good read.
But that's pretty much what I'm saying, unbiased. There were tests that he passed before the UCAD test he failed within 48 hours of the UCAD test. And there was another one after the UCAD test within 48 hours. So the drug that was found can't clear system in that amount of time, which makes it an anomaly. And that's why the argument that it was cross-contamination in a lab was seen as the most viable explanation. Also, because the dose was so small.
It was so low. The findings were extremely low. Like,
and it passed 2 tests in such close proximity to it.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So I may have got the length of the investigation incorrect, but the most important part of what I was actually trying to say was, because of the other 2 tests, it makes it impossible for him to be taking the drugs.
Yeah, I mean, it says Whyte provided several other doping control samples to UCAD and VADA between 20th of June and July 20th. The dates of his fight with Oscar Rivas also, which tested negative.
Yeah, that's not it. It had loads. That's what they're saying. Dillian Whyte was tested.
He tested positive way before he even fought Rivas. That's what they were talking about, and it was so low that it had to do with contamination. So him popping dirty, right? UCAD must have already known this, which gives credence to what John is saying about his lawyers, which Whyte's lawyers were trying to force them to release the information so he could continue to have his mandatory spot, because what happened was so earlier before he fought
what AA said,
Rivas.
because I had the whole press release from UCAD at the time when it was released, and I read through all the detail, and it might be what you've dropped, but I was trying to do it from memory, so I'm not going off what Eddie Hearn had said. I got the entire document that UCAD released, and I read through it all.
Yeah, but they released that 4 months or 3 months after Dillian Whyte. I'm talking about why Dillian Whyte.
Also, the WBC just did bullshit. Let's just call a spade. Like there's you know.
Sakib said Al Heyman snuck into UCAD labs and personally pissed him with the white sample.
Right. See, all of this is the point that I'm trying to make is, what is the WBC supposed to be doing while all of this is happening between Dillian Whyte's lawyers, UCAD, VADA, and this guy's got a failed test? That's the issue. The issue is what the WBC didn't do. What the WBC didn't do. What the WBC didn't do is just throw him out the way the WBO did and everybody else did. What they did was they said, I'm going to suspend it and wait for the outcome of the investigation. Like you guys are saying, all of that is closed business, and that's what's going on between UCAD and Dillian Whyte. What is the WBC supposed to do? Just say, what, Dillian Whyte's clean? How the hell should they know? They're not in the hearing.
They could do what
they fucking did with Jimenez and not move so quickly. They could have done
that. There you go. And what they should have done. And also, he passed all of their tests before the fight and after the fight. So what the fuck are we doing? Why are you stripping him? He passed WADA and UCAD. I mean, the test right before UCAD and WADA, right? Now, he had issues before, right? But they seem to have settled that. That's why Whyte wanted his lawyers to force them to release that information. Like, why make it a whole struggle?
Yeah, right. That's fine. That's fine. But you guys are just describing the inner machinations of the investigation. To say that the investigation wasn't happening and then start describing all what is happening during the investigation. Fine. You can say that what you can't say is that he didn't pop. You can say that he got, you can say whatever you want about the clean test after, but what you can't say is that he didn't pop in the first place. And that is what triggered everything else. And fine, he was cleared, but that was a process.
No,
and not only that, but it was okay. You were just describing the process. You were just talking about he had to go to his lawyer's office in order to talk to a lawyer, in order for the lawyer to go to a thing. This is a process.
Smoke. The WBC couldn't just wait.
The WBC
they did wait. They did wait.
When Dillian Whyte failed.
Whoa. How long did they wait, Smoke? Because they removed him from his mandatory. They moved on Dillian Whyte extremely quick. I just made the statement. That they could have done what they did with Jimenez, and had they done that, had Mauricio Suleiman given it the same amount of time that he gave fucking Jimenez when it was, she had a whole bunch of things that say, yeah, she might be. The bitch looked like a man, testosterone and everything. She had a whole bunch of things that she might feel something, but Mauricio Suleiman took all that time. So what he could have done differently is gave it that much time for Whyte. And had he done that, then everything would have been clear. Whyte would have never been taken out of. So that's what Suleiman could have done. But he chose not to.
That's not true.
Yeah, and there's a glaring difference. There's a glaring difference in these two guys. One guy popped.
Jimenez.
Can I say something for a minute?
Jimenez is a woman, a female boxer.
Dillian Whyte had 3 months.
What 2 guys, Smoke? What 2 guys?
What? Did Jimenez? What I'm saying? No. Listen. You may be educating. You may be educating me right now. I'm not. I don't know this. Did Jimenez pop before the fight?
No.
Okay, then there you go. That is the difference. Dillian Whyte popped before the fight.
Okay.
The WBC didn't know that Dillian had popped until after the fight. The WBC didn't know Dillian had popped until somebody revealed it to the newspapers. That's when Mauricio Sullivan found it. That was in July, and then in October he suspended him at the end of October. So between July and October,
example of the WBC on their bullshit, because their drug testing system, VADA, Whyte passed that.
But he failed another test. They were made aware.
In which VADA actually allowed UCAD to do majority of that testing.
Yeah, but what happened when the WBC asked UCAD for clarification on the Dillian Whyte? Mauricio Sullivan did ask for information on the case and was told that he wouldn't get information on the case. Mauricio Sullivan found out that Dillian Whyte had popped the exact same day we found it for the exact same source. When he contacted UCAD for clarification on the case, he was told that you don't get clarification on a case that's ongoing. They waited till October before they suspended Dillian Whyte. They never suspended Dillian Whyte the next day. Dillian Whyte had 3 months before he was suspended. They found out at the end of July. They didn't suspend him for his ranking until the end of October. Mauricio Sullivan says that the UCAD would not disclose any information on the case. So what's he left today? All he knows is UCAD are investigating a fighter who's the interim champion in the mandatory. His position is to suspend the fighter, suspend his ranking. They never suspended him. They suspended the ranking and held it back for a year because UCAD hadn't cleared him yet. They can't turn around and say to Dillian Whyte, okay, we've asked UCAD what happened, and they've told us we'll not tell you, but we're going to just make you the mandatory the day they clear you, or suspend you the day when they fail you. He's totally missed the fact that the WBC found out same time as us, and when they tried to find out what happened...
Sorry, what are the dates you giving for that?
What's that?
What dates are you giving for
the WBC?
The WBC they didn't suspend Dillian Whyte until at the convention, which was at the end of October. I think it was October 27th.
Facts. This is what I'm talking about. Now, Smoke might not want to believe that, but I think that that's 100% true. If Whyte was Mexican, he would have kept his mandatory. You know why I believe that's true? Because Jimenez is Mexican, and she kept her fucking belt until the very last fucking second. So I agree with that.
But according to the BBC, the WBC provisionally suspended Dillian Whyte on the 30th of July.
That's when his mandatory
position was suspended.
No, his mandatory wasn't suspended until the convention.
Hold on.
At the convention.
I'll put the article in the chat.
It was at the convention.
Yeah, it says the 30th. It says the 30th, yeah. And yeah, I mean,
the two Clenbuterol guys, Mexican. Yep, with the two hands. Mexican.
Yeah, listen. The WBC raised the level of clenbuterol that you can have in your system, and that apparently disproportionately gives the Mexicans an advantage. I don't know what clenbuterol means, but apparently you got a picogram.
What if two brothers? You think he would have raised it if it was two black men or two European fighters? You think he would have raised it?
Probably not.
We don't need to even go to the hypothetical because I don't know Suleiman like that. No, I don't know Suleiman. I literally don't know Suleiman well enough to make that determination. But I do know that he is Mexican, and I do know that he's done it for Mexicans, and I do know that is a problem that is primarily in Mexico. That's what I do know. Them's the facts.
Smoke, you know what? D, wait, real quick, D. I just gotta ask you something, D. You see how Smoke before was like, man, fuck those sanctioning bodies. But right now, he is defending the WBC. Yeah, you see it, right?
That was not a defense of the WBC.
Yeah.
Did you just not hear what I said? That was not a defense of WBC.
Hey, beforehand, you were defending WBC. I'm just saying.
Specifically, you realize somebody asked me a question, right? That wasn't for you to answer. That was actually for me to answer. Because he said, hey, D, not hey, Smoke. So, I'm biased. Yes, I do notice that. To answer your question. Yes, I do notice that. And here's the thing. It's just like this last question that I just asked. Do you think that Suleiman will do this? Well, this is what gets me with Smoke. You can take a lot of situations and come up with a reasonable conclusion. You do it all the time. But now you can't take this crooked motherfucking Suleiman, who's known for doing bullshit all the time, and come up with the conclusion, yeah, I do think that he would do that. I don't know. That's bullshit, dog. You know this crooked motherfucker would do it. You know this.
Hey, Smoke, we got to rise above the sanction bodies,
listen. I don't know. Listen. I don't look at the WBC for signs of ethnic discrimination, right? I just don't. So maybe it could. If I did, maybe I would see it better. But that's just not what I've been doing. So I don't have an answer for you, for real.
Yeah, Smoke, that's all good and dandy, but you've been looking at Suleiman long enough, and he's a fucking crooked ass dude. So you can reasonably assess that he would do some crooked shit. You just don't want to answer that when you start playing defense. You don't.
I don't care. If you ask me about that as crooked, that's different than asking me if he's ethically discriminating against people. You ask me a specific thing.
Thought, bro. But see, this is why we accuse you of protection, because you do it and then you deny it every time when you do shit like this. That's why you get accused of it, bro. Because you put it on yourself, just like Dillian Whyte. You caused yourself to get this.
Awesome. Then I'm gonna wear that jacket. If you need to assume that whether or not it's ethnic discrimination and I can't make the assumption and that means I'm defending him, then cool. I'm gonna just go ahead and wear that jacket from you guys. Go ahead.
Nah, Smoke, you like to use sanctioning bodies. You use sanctioning bodies when it fits your narrative. I noticed that. Right? Yeah. When Wilder has 10 title defenses and you can't have title defenses without a sanctioning body, then it's good for him. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Right. But now we're saying how crooked and corrupt, or no, excuse me, with Fury and AJ, right? Oh, Fury, fuck the belts. Belts don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But it does for Wilder and his 10 title defenses though, right? And now you're defending WBC and their tactics versus Whyte.
Oh, I know
it's
that.
because
We kinda
the
all
issue is
over
the
the
issue
place.
that you have is no. I know you're all over the place. What
No, go
issue?
ahead.
The issue of whether or not title defenses get you in the Hall of Fame is a completely different issue than whether or not you fought the best guys available. Right? That is plenty of guys are in the Hall of Fame who did not fight the best guys available in their era. That just happens. These are two totally separate issues. When you're
No, they're
talking
not,
about
because
fighting
let me
the
tell you
best,
how they're
when
not.
you talk about fighting the best, when Tyson Fury saying I'm going to drop a belt to fight AJ because I've already achieved belts and this is the best guy, that is also something to take into consideration because it will still be 3 belts on the line, right? Just because he drops one and it's not a 4-belt undisputed doesn't make it a non-championship fight, and also AJ still represents the best. It is not just sanctioning bodies taking the thing. What you're doing is conflating things.
No, I'm
it's
not.
fine for sanctioning bodies.
Piece it all together for you.
Let me finish. It's fine.
What you want to do?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. It's fine for a sanctioning body to determine who's in the Hall of Fame. What I said was the sanctioning body shouldn't determine who's the best. The fans should be able to discern who the best is, regardless of who has a belt.
Hold on for a second. The fans do that. Just because the fans' criteria is not the same as yours, motherfucker, don't mean that they don't do that. Because you don't use unifications as your criteria doesn't mean the fans don't do that. That means that you don't agree unification. That's not in your criteria. But guess what, Smoke? It's in a whole lot of people's criteria. And if they have that in their criteria, that does not mean they're letting the sanctioning bodies determine who they call the best. That's your interpretation. That's your perspective on that, because you don't use that as a criteria.
No, it's functionally no different. Because it's functionally no different. Because it's literally functionally no difference.
Whoa, Smoke, let me go. Let me respond to what you just said, right? Because you said AJ's the best. How did we determine that AJ was the best? Who did he fight? He became a champion, right?
No. Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko when he beat Vladimir Klitschko, that's when people started saying he was the best.
Okay,
because
and
he
how did we
knocked out
know
Vladimir
Klitschko was one of the best? He was also a champion, right? So no matter
a long reigning one.
Exactly. So no matter how you want to look at it, getting a belt and becoming a champion is it's important for us to look at you as one of the best. Whether you want to acknowledge that or not, that is simply the truth. You're admitting it without admitting it.
Right?
You're just telling part of the story. You're just telling
everyone else's criteria, and Smoke doesn't have that in his criteria. Then why the fuck are we all letting the sanctioning bodies determine it?
We only knew Tyson Fury. We only knew Tyson Fury was as good as he was.
If your determination is because it is a unification, that means it's good. That is the sanctioning body. Let me finish. That is.
Nobody gonna let you finish.
Okay. All right. Forget it. Because you just talk about what you want to talk about, and it has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Fine. The belts matter, right? Nobody said the belts don't matter. But when you're talking about Vladimir Klitschko being the best, it's because of who he fought, not just because he had a belt. That's the point that for some reason you keep glossing over. You also have to fight people, regardless of if you have the belt.
Bro, okay, let me explain it to you again. Because we would only know how great Klitschko was because of his title defenses in reign. He was a reigning what? A reigning champion. That's how we knew how great he was.
How did he get that way? He got that way by fighting people. He got that way by fighting people.
You don't want to
by fighting people.
Okay.
No, by defending the title. How do you defend the title? By fighting people.
Here, I got another one. Wilder is only going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer because he became a champion and then had 10 title defenses to you, right? So without the belt, they wouldn't be title defenses. He wouldn't get into the Hall of Fame to you if he did not have those 10 title defenses.
Bro, just because you're in the Hall of Fame does not mean that you fought the best in the division.
Okay.
It means that you can get in the Hall of Fame without fighting the best guy in your division. You can do that. Listen, Lennox Lewis got into the Hall of Fame without fighting Chris Bird.
Yeah, because he beat Holyfield.
He got him out of it, right? But Chris Bird was a champion, right? Like what I'm saying to you, that the best does not necessarily be determined just because you have a belt, right?
No,
you can get into the Hall of Fame without doing anything.
Like this. Nobody's saying that, Smoke. What I'm saying is you like to use sanctioning bodies when it's convenient for whatever you're pushing at the time. That's my point to you.
No, that's just your conclusion based on a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense, right? Because you're glossing over what I'm talking about. Now, you're conflating situations. But like I said, just because you get in the Hall of Fame does not mean you face the best in your division. The sanctioning bodies can determine whether or not you get into the Hall of Fame, and that's fine. That does not mean that you fought the best in your division.
Okay.
What Tyson Fury is talking about is fighting the best in his division, regardless of what the sanctioning body has going on.
Okay, Smoke. If you say that I'm biased, you know, maybe that's your opinion that he's off, because like that's the thing. You sit up here and you tell us no what you're saying, and then you'll say to unbiased, no, you're off. But like you're the only one to think that. That's your opinion. That's your perspective. Because I actually agree with him, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do. So how you just gonna tell him he wrong? Maybe you're wrong.
Okay, can I ask a question? How is determining whether a fight is good because of its unification not abdicating the responsibility to the sanctioning body for telling you who's good? Please explain to me that.
No, but nobody actually said that sanctioning bodies.
Because that's what I said. Because that's all I said. So since you're saying what I'm saying is not correct, please explain to me how it's not correct.
Because the two best fighters right now have the titles. The two best in the division,
that's
Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, have the titles. So this is where we're coming from. The two best right now in the division, in the heavyweight division, have the World Heavyweight Championship belts. These ain't two bums. The two best in this division have the belts, and we would all like to see them fight for unification.
Right. So let me
if he drops the belt.
Let me reiterate what I just said. Smoke. Maybe we agree, and it's potentially you're wrong. You can't sit up here and tell everybody they're wrong and like your fucking word is God, because again, maybe we all agree and you're fucking wrong.
I mean, Smoke can have his own opinion.
I literally asked you how to tell me I'm wrong. And
that's the thing, I'm biased. He can have his own opinion, but like I just responded to him because he basically came up and said, no, you're wrong. So if you're saying that somebody's wrong, then you acting like they can't have their opinion. Like unbiased can't have his opinion. So yeah, he can have his opinion, but when you charge and say, no, that's incorrect, you're wrong.
Hold on real quick though.
Actually, it's the other way around. You're saying that my opinion is wrong, and so I'm asking you to explain. Since you're saying that my opinion is wrong, since you're saying that it does take unifications are the thing that determines whether or not a fight is good, then okay, so great. So right. So that's what I said. That's all I've been saying. That's all I've been saying. Listen, let me finish. Just like the guy. Okay, that's what you said that my thing was wrong about. That's what I said. The thing that you are telling me that I'm wrong about, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it is not a unification that determines whether or not the fight is good or not. It is actually the combatants in the fight. And furthermore, to prove what I'm saying is what that other guy was saying. The two best, both are belt holders. If the guy gave up the belt, they still are the two best. That is the entire point.
So what you just said. So what you're telling us is you just made a fucking irrelevant point because nobody said.
Oh my God, dude. No, you said my shit was wrong.
You made a fucking irrelevant point because if none of us said that it's all dependent on two belt unification, if none of us made that statement, then your fucking point was irrelevant because none of us said that. It's irrelevant.
Okay, so because I made a point, I had to be making it at you. Like you guys. I just made a point. You said my point was incorrect. So then I'm asking you if you're saying my point is incorrect. Show me how my point is incorrect. But now you're saying because you can't show me how my point is incorrect. Now you're telling me it's irrelevant in the first place. So
I can't tell you your point.
Why did you tell me it's wrong? And then instead of saying it was wrong, why'd you say it?
Chill the fuck out. Answer this question. Nobody can tell you your point was incorrect. But why the fuck did you make that irrelevant point then? We're not saying it was incorrect, but why the fuck did you make it then? What was the point?
Because okay, I'm gonna answer. If I'm sorry, on the screen it said that it's still muted. You keep muting me and then unmuting me. So just hold on a second. Okay, can I answer his question before you jump in on bias? Right?
Okay. Why'd you make an irrelevant point that nobody said?
Okay, so since in this conversation, why we got here yesterday, you guys have been telling me about the importance of unifications. This has been an ongoing discussion. So to all of a sudden act like you now don't know what we've been talking about when it comes to unifications, that's fine. But what I said was the unifications in and of themselves don't mean a damn thing. If Dillian Whyte becomes 4-belt undisputed, it's still going to be Tyson Fury that you got to see, whether or not he has the belt. So you can go with this belt. And the fans who like that, that's fine. More power to them. I'm not. My point to you is that doesn't represent who the best in the division is. What that does represent is who has all the belts.
Can I ask something real quick, Smoke? In what division is a guy the best that is not a belt holder? Crickets.
What division is the guy is the best that's not the belt holder?
Is
that what you're saying? Is that what you're asking?
Belt holder. Yes.
Yeah. That's exactly.
I mean, it was Tyson. It could have been Tyson Fury.
He's a belt holder, so that's not true.
No.
And look, hold on, wait, Smoke. You said it could have been Tyson Fury. How did you know that it was? He beat the champion, right? Okay. But anyways, I'm a peace out, man. I appreciate you for having me on.
Anyway, no, it's because he beat Vladimir Klitschko. You know who AJ beat? Vladimir Klitschko. Was Vladimir Klitschko a champ? No, he wasn't. It was because he beat Vladimir Klitschko, not because he just beat a champ. So yeah, peace out to that.
I believe, sorry, D, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
I believe I said this before, right? Anthony Joshua beat a 38-year-old Carlos Takam, a 39-year-old Alexander Povetkin, and a 40-year-old Vladimir Klitschko. I was going to say Vitaly for some reason. Vladimir Klitschko. He fought all three fighters at the end of his career in very quick succession.
Go ahead. She's playing the violins. That's all.
No. I got it.
Hey man, look, we on 3.5 hours, dog. This Speak Your Mind Sports Talk Live Daily is over an hour. We over an hour deep, man. Y'all give me some closing thoughts. I don't even really want to run this show that long.
Okay. Sometimes these discussions just get on deep. I spent the whole time just listening, and great show. There's fuckery all around. You ask me. If you want to simplify it, Tyson Fury's done his shit. Dillian Whyte's done his shit. The WBC and Richard Suleiman has done their shit. There's been fuckery all around. And at the end of the day, all we want to see is the best fight each other and for unification. In the heavyweight division, we haven't seen unification in 20 years. The last person to hold unification, and this is why he is in the Hall of Fame, is Lennox Lewis. So you said he didn't fight Chris Bird. He was unification world heavyweight champion. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm out.
Peace out, B. John Daly. Give me some closing thoughts, fam.
What I think is very strange is we all want the same thing. We're just arguing about how to get there. Everybody wants to know who the number one guy is in the heavyweight division. And all of these arguments could really be settled easily with the undisputed fight. I'm comfortable with the idea of 2 fights before that if it completely clears the way to enable that fight to happen. And then without any question whatsoever, the winner of that fight, even if it is Pulev versus Whyte, is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and we know who the guy is. So we can go from there. Arguing back and forth over fine points about suspensions. At the end of the day, Dillian Whyte got cleared. You either like it or you don't, but that's the outcome of the decision. Mauricio Suleiman, in my opinion, did not treat him the same way he's treated 2 other Mexican fighters who had investigations. They're just not. Mauricio Suleiman himself is not consistent. So that's that issue in terms of what's a duck. If you don't fight your mandatories and you give up your belt, in my opinion, that is a duck. It hasn't happened yet. There's just a lot of talk. and it's Tyson Fury talking, so I don't think we can trust what he's saying. He's going to fight Wilder next, and the mandatory hasn't been called. So we're all just getting a bit emotional way ahead of time. At the end of the day, the person who at this stage has done Dillian dirty is Mauricio Sullivan. And Dillian tried to play politics himself, so he's got to carry some of that himself as well. Thanks, D.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you coming on, fam. Get smoke. Give me some cold.
Yeah. So yeah, Tyson Fury, you know, he's at it again, tweeting out, got the tugs wagging, got the minds churning about all the possibilities. I like the fact that he's attempting to try to be bigger than the belts. I hate the fact that he's weaponizing, you know, what the WBC is and what people think of it. I've never heard anybody like beg for the franchise belt. Most people are like, fuck the franchise belt, but this dude out here bucking the trend. So whatever, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show. And I hope he doesn't go back to the Otto Wyleens and Tom Schwarzes just because he don't have a belt.
Well, I'll tell you this. He probably be fighting one of them if that Joshua fight got to happen. So y'all just expect it. That motherfucker, he gonna fight another Otto Wyleen or Tom Schwartz and wait for that Joshua fight. If I had to bet my money on it, that's what I would bet on, Fury crazy ass. But look,
let me just say to PC, all the guys, Mr. Two Hands. I think was that Charles D earlier. I'm not sure. But John, Double A, Unbiased, D. Until the next time, man. Peace to everybody. Respect.
Peace out, dog. Great show. Thanks for coming through. Hey, so guys, you know, this was actually pretty good. I had fun today. This was a great show. I'm trying to keep these things down to 2 hours or less, but we're gonna get topics like this one, a real interesting topic. And if it's got to do with Teofimo Lopez, Tyson Fury, or Canelo Alvarez, maybe even Errol Spence too, then we might go overtime, dog, because those are my guys. But I just want to end this with a little something for Dillian Whyte. That's for Dillian Whyte. Y'all know I always did this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.